All right, I'm going to try to get into this quick. I think I've got audio. I think everything's good. One of you guys will yell at me if I don't have audio or anything. Hey guys, haven't been live here in a while. And I apologize for today, but I am sick as a dog. I cannot kick this cold, and then I got an infection in my lymph nodes, so I didn't do any video work today. Well, I did work. I just didn't do any editing or uploading. So the thing, though, is there's too much going on for me not to do a video for you. So even though I've been going live a lot on UNIRock Archive, where I've moved like stream prep and a couple, like the after show and the pre-show is now over at UNIRock Archive. And sometimes when I don't even stream over here, I'm live on that new channel. But if you want to join the channel or subscribe to it, it's in the sidebar. You could join the channel. You'll get a badge in the chat and in my comments, which is really cool. And then also you'll be able to come to our member-only live stream, stuff like that, which we'll be doing one this weekend at the end of the week. And we'll also be doing our Discord stream. So if you're a member, make sure you join the Discord. That's all out of the way. There's too much stuff to update you on for me not to go live. I was going to do a video and edit it really pretty and all that. But instead, I'm going to come at you real quick like this because I honestly have been so sick. So one thing that happened is OGwanKEnobi, and you got to subscribe to OG because he's done a really great investigation. Me and him went live last night on the UNIRock Archive, and he's going to be joining us here on UNIRock too, hopefully with a couple other people, to talk about his investigation because he did a really good one. And what he noticed was there was a guy on YouTube that was trying to bust, I don't know the best words to use without having the search or for this video muted, but I'll try to behave. I'll try to censor myself so that I don't get my so that I can be in the algorithm. But he busted some YouTubers that were trying to be Chris Hansen. Do you remember Chris Hansen? Chris Hansen tells you who the nasty guys are in society. Well, this guy did similar content, trying to tell you who the nasty guys are. And it ended up turning out that he was an admitted nasty guy himself. Went to prison for it for a long time. Was a level 3 and said some of the sickest stuff I've ever heard for him to be on YouTube discussing what he discusses. So even if you're not into, like, I know a lot of you guys watch videos where people scam, like YouTube scammers or YouTube frauds. You like those types of videos, but you don't get into this. This would be an exception. So even if you like watching the Q guys get busted, or the if you like watching the Flat Earth guys get busted for their lies and stuff, you'll like this story too, because it's very disturbing. So let's go ahead and roll in with that. And then we're going to jump over to Victoris Libertas. Me and OG discussed this at length yesterday. There was a documentary. You know that I have a show. If you've followed me for a while, you'll know that I have a show called Crowdsourced Criminals, where we look at some of the, let's call it, most blatant examples of fake crowdsourced campaigns. Usually it's a whole show where we vote. We like look at a brand new GoFundMe campaign or crowdsourced campaign. Then we vote live to see if people think it's legit or whether they don't. But we're not going to be doing that today. I will tell you this. I've been working on a crowdsourced criminal. We're going to be updating that playlist with Season 2. Season 3 of Red Pill to Pay the Bill All-Stars, which is going to be edited videos. It's not going to be live like it used to be. Because a lot of you asked me that. You said, look, we love your long live streams when it comes to Red Pill to Pay the Bills or hashtag RP2PB. We love those videos, but we don't have time to watch really long videos all the time. So I decided that Season 3 of Red Pill to Pay the Bills would come at you edited. We've already got some of them done, and I've already showed you a preview. I did a preview show for one of those episodes, so we're working on that too. These are all going to be new playlists on our channel, on the front of our channel once we get them updated. We're going to have live stream clips. We're going to have a lot of other stuff going on. So anyway, let's get this going. What is so weird about Victoris Libertas VLTV in this video? Where did the honeybee go? Well, if we click it and we go down, you see that it has 98 thumbs ups, but 38 thumbs downs. Thanks to FKN Freddy, though, he did a video where he was showing us when it first came out that it had 86 thumbs up and 150 thumbs downs. Freddie watched that number go to 91 thumbs up, so it went up a few, but it went down 110 thumbs downs. A lot of people were really disturbed by how they could do this, right? Why is it that they've lost all these thumbs downs? Because if you don't know what's going on, this guy, whose name's Anthony, did a GoFundMe campaign to make a documentary about pretty much the same stuff that Dave Totoshini guy talks about. And when he collected the $20 or $30 or $40,000 for the documentary, he just kind of disappeared. They missed their deadlines. So people haven't been really quick to think that they are conning people, like that the documentary won't come out, but they've been quick to want to know why they've hid. You get me? I think that's what's got a lot of people freaked out about this. Yeah, you have problems. You can't get it out on time. You were supposed to release it in July of 18, then November of 18, then, the beginning of 19, but we still haven't seen it. That's not the major issue, because they could just update the community, tell people what's going on, and then the backers of this project would then, I think, calm down and be okay. But I do think that the 150 thumbs downs was because the backers for this project heard about the video, watched the video, and voted it thumbs down because their money's gone, but they have no documentary. So to see those thumbs downs disappear from 150 down to 38 is extremely, let's call it, gaming the system. And this whole live stream right now, I'm going to focus on the thing that I've noticed about YouTube since I came to UNIRock 2 from my main channel to do most of the major content I've been doing. And what I've noticed is conspiracy theory plus religion or politics equals easy money, easy likes, easy clicks. Because typically, you don't get much mystery or conspiracy in your religion. And typically you don't get much mystery or conspiracy in your politics. But if you combine these things together, you can pretty much grow a following regardless of what your content is or how bad or good it is. And speaking of conspiracy plus religion plus politics, not or, but plus, you will not believe what's going on with the MAGA coalition, a creator on YouTube known as, what's this dude's name? Praying Medic, and another guy who is pretty well known in the political community. Well, his Twitter just got struck and is gone. Gingrich, right? I always say his name wrong, so I try not to. Gingrich of PA has a giant Periscope show that talks about all these different issues. Well, it's kind of weird that his account is restricted right now due to it being mass flagged. Who would do that? Well, a YouTuber just so happened to make a video about the coalition, about this thing. I won't say a YouTuber. I'll say a YouTube channel. You got to sit back. You got to see all of this, because all of this combined together, just hearing these stories, it doesn't seem nefarious at first, right? It just seems, hey, this looks like some drama. It looks like, YouTubers fighting with each other. It looks like people are, maybe getting a little bit upset and lashing out. And you could say that that's correct, but then you're leaving out a major part of it. I did an investigation a while back that I ended up deeming the Hydra, and I called it this. I'll go into why I called it this. I'll go into the details in a little bit. But in this show, I'm going to prove to you that the beast, this mythological beast, well, it's a metaphor, but the mythological beast that we investigated and exposed, and because of shining the sunlight on it, it shrank up and died. It actually retreated down underground, regrew its heads, and it's back again to try and wreak havoc anywhere on YouTube where somebody will subscribe, like, or send a donation. All right. This is UNIRock Live for, what's the date? I don't even know the damn date, dude. I feel like shit today. March 25th, 2019. I haven't done a live show on this channel in a while, so let's get pumping.
Is a clusterfuck of the 11th magnitude.
And did you ever have to register as a sex offender?
Yes, I did.
You still do?
Yeah, I still do.
Me and Stony Stone in my living room. He drove 1,600 miles from Rockford, Illinois, all the way to New Jersey to spend a couple of days with me. He's the most fantastic guy I ever met. Absolutely awesome.
As Honeybee knew about your conviction for a year, did she ever reach out to you and inquire what the hell is going on? Why are you in the truther community talking about this, that, and the other thing?
No, she never contacted me. She never contacted me.
Where were you that day that that incident happened? Did you not have an alibi?
No, I was there, but I wasn't in an event. Yeah, I was several places with the kid. I was all over. It's not a matter of where's my alibi. I wasn't there. I was there. How does it happen that this victim sends you birthday cards and calls you on her phone 4 or 5 times every month? How does that happen?
Well, it happens very easily. It's called grooming, being very close to the victim. And if you even claimed at the beginning of the stream you used to go swimming with him. So, I mean, that's very telling in itself.
All I did was teach him how to swim. All I did was, hey, you can float. You don't have to jump in the water and float and go to the bottom. You can float.
Well, I mean,
so
you were around him enough as a kid to teach him how to swim. So, I mean...
Wow.
The parents obviously trusted you.
I was also a scoutmaster for 4.5 years. What does that mean?
That means that's fucking scary.
Anybody got any further shit to ask this guy?
No, I'm good.
No, I don't want to talk to him ever again.
No, me neither, man. But yeah, let's see his fucking. Yeah, no, I fucking don't even want to say it again. I find the whole story to be fucking bullshit, fucking bull. Like it's just crap. There you go. There you have it, folks. That's fucking Dave. Dave is a convicted child rapist. Schedule 3. The worst motherfuckers on the planet is that guy. And he can say all he wants. I'm gonna believe the court system on this one. And I just had a fucking pedophile on my show.
I
Creepy music, man. So what is the big news when it comes to Todashini? Well, Freddy, FKN Freddy, a YouTuber, OGwanKEnobi, a YouTuber, Wake Now, I think is his, correct me in the chat, a YouTuber, and many other people. If I leave anyone out, please put their names in the chat. All helped to investigate this and expose it. And in the last few days, for reasons that we don't know, his channel is now gone. But he is trying to rebuild on one of his backup channels. Can he do that? It's up to YouTube. It's whatever's good. I'd hope that he would stop the type of content that he was doing. Here's my take. When this first happened, I wanted to report it, but this is one of those sensitive situations. You want to make sure that you aren't throwing someone under a bus with this. This is a lot of YouTubers don't, and all the guys that investigated this did a great job. But some YouTubers that hang out around Todashini, they have no reservation. They do not try and be careful when it comes to lobbing these kind of accusations. In fact, they're not careful about lobbing any accusation. They wield accusation as a weapon. But on the other side, Freddie and OG and Wake and all these guys were very methodical, very careful about what they did. So I respect them for that. Now, a while back, I wanted to report on this story, and I talked about it slightly in some live shows, but I wanted to make sure that we had everything laid in and everything's up to date here. But this is definitely something that I think, you know, we need to send this story to people like Tipster and to all of the YouTube news guys out there, because this is a YouTuber that grew a channel very large. Okay, people want to say, oh, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 subs is nothing. Those subs are people. That's a lot of people, okay? And those kind of people would not stay subscribed to a guy if they knew that he was a tier 3 offender. Not because a tier 3 offender can't get better, they can't go to YouTube. Some people argue that. Personally, I don't feel that way. Personally, I don't know how you even do this and not go to jail for the rest of your... This should be a life sentence, in my opinion, because it's a life sentence for the victim. Why isn't it a life sentence for the perpetrator? These are all things that are fundamental to society, though. These are arguments that are fundamental to society. But regardless of how you feel about that, I do personally think he should not be on YouTube. Maybe, you know, I don't know why there isn't some kind of rule that if you have this designation, you just have to age restrict your videos. YouTube threw a really big fit. We had well, I won't say YouTube did, but advertisers did with the Matt's What It Is situation, right? Remember him? He came out and said that these type of people were in comment sections, you know, leaving, you know, sick messages in comment sections and links and stuff, and YouTube went to drastic measures to try and fix that. What about YouTubers that have done this, that served a lot of time for this, that are literally restricted to never be around a kid again? What about those kind of YouTubers? How do you feel about that, though? It would seem like there would be some type of rule there. I don't know what the rule is. There are too many channels that specialize in this type of content, like Dave, like Titus, like LTV. Why do they not tell us valuable information like what the YouTube rules are? Well, what's even more surprising about this situation is the group of YouTubers that defended this guy, knowing what he is. Now, my channel isn't a channel where we talk about this kind of thing because I just don't like to talk about it. I feel like it's something that goes on the news. It's something that communities, you know, cities and towns talk about. I don't myself want this type of content on my YouTube channel other than if we're just reporting something. So, you know, reporting this is because I report all this kind of stuff with channels getting deleted, with strikes, with all these things happening. So yeah, I'm going to report this now. It's not something I will ever focus my channel on. But there are people out there like the two YouTubers I just named that do focus their channel on these kind of topics. So do you think that you've got these guys that act like accusations towards like a donut company is worth, you know, 40 videos, 5 interviews, massive allegations? Why isn't factual proof and admissions from one of their friends enough for them to put out? Because me putting it out, or Freddie, or OGwan, or let's say Tipster picks it up, right? Tier 3, you know, offender is busted on YouTube with a channel that focuses on talking about kids' murders and kids' crimes. That's a massive story, you'd think. For maybe like here for me, it's just a story. Maybe for Tipster, it'd be like a middle ground story. Maybe for Keemstar or something, it'd be like a midline story. But for people that have channels focused on all of this stuff that Todashini talks about, and they're in Todashini's community, and they've worked with them in the past, wouldn't this be like the biggest story ever? So why did those guys defend him after they found out that he admitted to this, that there are records for this in the court? Why didn't they call him out? Why did they literally defend him? Well, it's not my job to figure that out.
Net for Truth USA. Dave Todashini. See you later, bitch.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought I had it all together, but I was led astray the day you walked away. You were the clock that was ticking in my home. Changed my state of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we got him. I mean, seriously, guys, seriously. What really got me was hearing, I think it was either OG or Freddy call in to LTV and say, hey, your whole channel reports this kind of thing. Why are you protecting one of your friends? You know? Why? Oh, Kenneth says, sup, Uni, drop by for a second while on break. Just a thought. Shouldn't content be judged not on the person? Yes, and I am an advocate for free speech too, but I'm an advocate against, you know, there's a few things that will make me consider other types of thought processes when it comes to that. And I'm sorry to say, pedophiles are one of them, you know? I appreciate your opinion, and thanks for it, though. So anyway, we have no clue why he lost his channel. In fact, he's kept his channel ever since this came out about him. And personally, I wouldn't even really report on it if he wasn't in the business of talking about kids every day. Wouldn't even be a weird thing. Not that I wouldn't like hate the guy personally. I would, and not that I wouldn't. I'm just like, you know, there's a lot of things you can go out there and do, right, in the world, but doing that is one of the things that I just will draw a line with. I'm drawing a hard line in the sand when it comes to pedos, and I will, you know, expect them to face these kind of restrictions. That's not why he lost his channel, though. And that's a complex question. It's a complex topic. And that's why I've asked OG, Freddy, if you will, and other people that have been paying attention and following this to come in and do a live show where they give their opinions. And maybe we can get like maybe the psychologist will come back in. The psychologist I had in talking about conspiracy thought. Maybe he can come in and kind of like give us a bit of maybe we can get someone to come in actually and talk about the laws and the rules around it. Because like I said, I'm all about redemption, and I'm all about people making up for something. Just not, I won't forgive someone that does that to a kid. It's just as bad as to me. It's a capital offense in my head, and what I mean is like life in prison type thing. I have no clue why it's not. But this does relate to another story only because of content. It relates to the Victoris Libertas thing that I talked about a little while ago. And this is a complex story. This is a complex update, a complex report. So let me jump over here. Let me get the actual video. So this falls under many different, I guess you would say, many different types of topics. For one, people are a little upset about the delay in the crowdfunding campaign. By the way, you know what? I should say this first. Let me do a disclaimer. I would have talked about this a long time ago, but I was trying to give all these guys that are doing this documentary, I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I'll tell you why later. Some people contacted me and asked me to give them the benefit of the doubt. So I'll let you know who, I'll let you know what happened after I explain the story so that it's not confusing for any new viewer that doesn't know what's going on with this, right? Because I had to re-catch up with all this. You know, I've moved on to talking about many other things. I've kind of taken my channel to a completely different place since we did this kind of investigation, since we looked into all this stuff. So, you know, going back to it, I needed a few days, a week to catch up and really refresh everything that I knew about it. And then also to weigh my opinion in. But anyway, so when it comes to GoFundMe, if I say GoFundMe campaigns, what I mean is crowdsourced campaigns. GoFundMe is just the biggest one, that and Kickstarter. But I think they did it on Plumbox. So for those of you that don't know what happened, there was a documentary put out called Kids Inc. Okay. On a crowdsourced website. In the About section, in the description of the campaign, it was 3 people that were going to make a documentary where they physically traveled to interview people who wanted to give testimony and evidence against 3 different type of topics. All of it fell under the realm of this kind of thing. You could say... Now, why is this kind of falling into a conspiracy or mystery community on YouTube? Because these 3 people gained their following by talking about Pizza G. I'll call it Pizza G because everybody knows what that means. You know, that it means P Gate, Pizza G. Okay. Take out the P, take out the G, smash those 2 together. I'm scared of algorithm bots. Sorry. Back to what I was talking about, though. I'm not attacking these guys. In fact, I've done the exact opposite. And honestly, you can really look back and see that I've avoided this topic. I should have talked about it a long time ago. It's very indicative of it pulls at the question of why do people spread conspiracies that are debunked after they are debunked, after the evidence is out that they aren't real, that they're fake, that they were, for God's sakes, crafted for YouTube money or maybe a psyop of some kind if you want to get really crazy with it. There's a lot of us, a lot of you guys that joined my channel a long time ago want to know why. Because we're very evidence-driven people. Right? When it comes to physical reality, a lot of us are spiritual. A lot of us believe in God. A lot of us are atheists. But one thing that kind of binds us all together is the fact that we are evidence driven. When it comes to the world, reality, this place we're in, we need evidence to make up our mind. And if evidence comes out that completely debunks something, then it amazes me. It baffles me how. Another part of this is a lot of people that push these types of conspiracy theories, and I love conspiracy theories. Whoa, I just remembered something. We're going to be doing the moon thing soon, too. I'll talk about that in a minute. Let me write down things that I'm forgetting so that I can update you. Moon update. For those of you that don't know, let me do this really quick. A lot of people have been asking me what I think about the moon landings, whether I believe them, whether I don't, after the Owen Benjamin thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some live shows coming up on this channel where I gather all the evidence that people have that say it's not real, and then all the evidence that people have that say it is real, and we look at it so we can make up our minds. That's kind of the foundation of my show. I started my show out doing exactly that. Taking any strange or mysterious or conspiracy topic and gathering what evidence is there for it and what evidence is against it, what's circumstantial, what's unprovable, and then doing a video showing you what everyone's saying so that we can kind of think about it. We have it all in one place. That's what actually gained me my subscribers on my main channel, that whole idea. And I still do that. I just, do specific shows now while keeping that being the foundation. So we're going to be looking into the moon soon. I've already got many original recordings I've got the TV broadcasts from 1969. I've got several of the other broadcasts from the later missions. I've got several videos that were released later on, pictures that were released later on. I've gathered a lot of evidence that people say means it's fake. And we're going to go through it all so that you know what I think. Because I get asked that. One of the biggest questions I get asked is, what do I believe about the moon? So please bear with me. And after we do these live streams about the moon, and we're going to do it in the same fashion that we did about other conspiracies, like backyard brawl, cute things I busted in the past. We're going to do it in that fashion. We're going to go in neutral. We're going to show the evidence that's there. We're going to talk through each piece of evidence, and then I'll make up my mind. You can make up your mind independently of me, and then we all will know what each other thinks, so that, you know, because I want to know what you think too. I do. It is interesting. Back to this though. You got a GoFundMe campaign ran by Pizza G YouTubers, people that have only made their following by talking about it. You've got Pizza G becoming completely debunked. You've got people across the internet fighting it being debunked, but they start dying off little by little and converting to the other side when they see the evidence that's out there, when they think about it. So it is kind of strange now that this GoFundMe campaign comes up. And there have been some other strange things that have happened. Let me tell you about that. And let me tell you why I'm not going to judge the two other people involved, because they are nowhere to be found yet. And this guy assured us that they would be talking to people soon. I want to invite him on my show if he wants to come. I will be very kind. I will not be rude to the guy. I'll ask hard questions, but I'll let him answer them. I will give him the benefit of allowing him, even if he wants to bullshit me or if he wants to be real with me, I will let him answer like I do with every interview I do. But a lot of people in the community have reached out to me in the last while and said, what do you think about the documentary? Why aren't you doing a video now that it's delayed? Why aren't you doing a video now that it's delayed the third, fourth, fifth time? So I'm doing it now. And I'm doing it now because we finally have information to go off of. He says they made $20,000 off the GoFundMe campaign. I don't know what the actual number was when it was done being funded, but I know that most likely it was more than 20,000, and I'll tell you why. It's very strange for a GoFundMe campaign, a crowdsourced campaign, to allow pay links inside the campaign, right? Because you're kind of subverting the website. So if I go to Kickstarter and I make one, and I put in my PayPal, I put in my Patreon, I put in all that stuff, Kickstarter would probably look at that like, what are you doing? Because they get a little tiny bit of money for hosting the campaign, and you're basically you're using their service and subverting their service so that you can get more donos. So I do think that a portion of donos towards this campaign went in on PayPal and Patreon. In fact, the Patreon looks like it is crafted towards the documentary. But I'll leave all that out and we'll stick with 30,000. A high number of 30, but his number of 20. I think 40 is more realistic, but I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be on his side with it, and I'll go to 20 because of him, even though I'm letting you know I don't believe it's 20. So moving forward a little bit, the campaign comes out. They actually exceed they only asked for $10,000. And they report to everyone that they have recorded the footage. Then they report to everyone that they are starting the editing process. Well, and that it'll be out in July, I think it was. And July comes and goes. They reset it for either November or December. It comes and goes. And now we're into March. We're getting close to April, and we have not seen it. And all of a sudden, on March 22nd, Anthony comes out on Victoris Libertas TV and explains what's been going on. So I'm going to tell you what I think about this video now. But I want to start. Let me refresh it. I want to start with this. It is very, very disturbing to me that they have erased over 100, I would say 200 downvotes. Not a lot of people are upvoting this video. It's weird that they even got 91. I don't believe 91. I don't believe 91 upvotes because it was like 30 upvotes when it had when it was at 11, when it was at 1,000, it had 30 upvotes and 30 upvotes and 150 or 160 downvotes. And when it goes from 1,000 views, and there's proof of this, I'm not making this up, I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. They want the truth. These guys say that their channels are about the truth. So they want the truth out. Here's the truth. At 1,000 views, they've got 30 upvotes and 150 downvotes. But by the time they hit 1,200 views, it has 91 upvotes. So 50% of the people that watched from the 200 views, out of the 200 views from 1,000 to 1,200, they gain 50% of those 200 people click the upvote button. Little less than 50%. We'll say 45%. But we have to believe that out of all the people that are mad about this documentary that downvoted this, naturally, as it happened, they didn't gain 100 upvotes at once. They gained an upvote every like 20 or 30 views, like normal, or downvote, I mean. For them to go from 150 to 38 is extremely weird. But why is it that me downvoting with a new account, it doesn't register? Right? Why? It's weird, right? Why don't you test it? If you dislike it, I'm not telling you to dislike it unless you do when you watch the video and you want to leave a downvote. Make sure you check 10 minutes later, because nope, for some reason, it won't register any more downvotes, and it lost 200 downvotes. It's up to 1,521 right now, and it was at 1,200 views, it's at 38 downvotes. And you're going to tell me that no one else downvoted this video when in the first 1,000, they had hundreds of downvotes. I don't believe it. I don't think that these downvotes went away because of any natural reason, and I find that very strange. Also, some of the people that they work with have been being busted lately for having these strange things happen with their upvotes and downvotes also. And some of the people that criticize this group of YouTubers have been noticing their upvotes going up only when they criticize them in big chunks, and their downvotes going down in big chunks. So the opposite happens for people that criticize these guys, and this happens when they put out money-making type of videos to defend their crowdfunding campaigns. Very strange, in my opinion. And just so you see, one more time, when it was at 1,000 views, it had 146 with 86 thumbs up. And by the time it hits 1,200, it has 38 downvotes. No new downvotes whatsoever. In fact, it lost 150 of them and then went up by 4 upvotes. I do not believe it. I have to weigh in there. Just to make sure you got me, that's my opinion. I don't mind what you think, my opinion. Now, some of the red flags in this video, when I started out, I actually thought to myself, you know what, maybe Anthony messed up. Maybe he had, I'm not going to talk about, maybe I should because it's in the video, but Anthony discusses a couple issues that he had. I'm not going to judge him for it. He's an adult. If he wants to do those things and he handles it, you know, like a man or whatever, okay, whatevs. So I'll leave that out. But he goes into a lot of problems he's been happening lately in the beginning. He talks about the honeybee not disappearing. She's okay. He doesn't say much about Heather. And although he makes a really big mistake about 20 or 30 minutes into the video, because he starts to insult anyone that has a bad opinion towards this GoFundMe campaign. He says that he's sick and tired of people getting upset with them because the documentary's not done, because they are only humans. And if something comes up and it stops them from making the documentary, then we should be understanding of that and not judge them in a bad way. And I'm fine with giving people more time. I'm fine with not judging. That's why I haven't made this the focal point of a video up to now. But it does seem a little, let's say, like he does deserve some criticism, right? because he did come straight out and put down and insult anyone who, because look, if you want to say there are people out there trolling you and acting like they're mad at you, that's fine. But there is going to be, if you do take about a year and don't put out the documentary that people gave you anywhere between $20,000 and $50,000 to make, there is going to be an enormous amount of natural criticism. And for him to throw a blanket over every criticizer, he's asking for people to get mad. He's asking for people to make videos about it. So I had a thought. You know, the problem is this guy, and I really don't know what his deal is. I don't really get it. He does nothing but talk about the truth, right? He really does. He said truth many times throughout this video, but he's not checking his interviewer. He's not sitting there coming in like, well, you know, this is why they're getting mad. Can't you understand why? He doesn't have to be mean. He could just very kindly check it, like put him in place. Like, look, dude, don't put down the people that gave you money. They have a right to be angry. You know, we have a right to have 200 downvotes on this video. You know, it's not like people are being unfair. It's not like you guys put out a documentary on time and you did what you were supposed to do with it. He also talks about how they're going to release their financial records. And I don't really believe that, because those are things that could have been released already. He makes a couple statements that are very back and forth. Like he says that they are in the stage of editing the videos and it'll be out. Editing the documentary and then it'll be out. He says he's been working on editing it for a year. But then he says they still have to storyboard it. They still have to come up with a narrative. They got to come up with a story. They got to make sure it's exciting. They got to make sure that it grabs the attention of people. And my response there is, why would you need to do that for a factual video? I get it. If you're making if you're making a fiction story, why in the world do you got to go there, right? Why do you got to build a narrative? I mean, maybe he meant that he just needs to organize the video, but really, if all you're doing is taking some interviews and some evidence that people have given you across the United States and putting it into a video, just do maybe like a pre-cut. I mean, I gave him a little advice when I talked about this on UNIRock Archive. I said, look, all you got to do is put out something. If you've got, he said he had 30 hours of video. Okay, just chop up 20 minutes worth of stuff and throw it out there. Give people something right now. And don't care about the haters, but care about the donators that didn't get their money. Didn't get their product. So really, I do have to be a little more critical, though. Those are my thoughts from a general perspective. But from a specific perspective, I have to say Anthony played the victim really hardcore here. Anthony really shouldn't have been the person who stood up in this video to say all of this. He shouldn't be the guy saying this. It should be, and don't get angry with me, but it should be Honeybee. And I'm going to try to explain why I feel that way. But Honeybee is the person who went on all of the fundraising discussions. She was the one that was bringing it up. She's the one with the following. She's one of the reasons why so many people donated. Okay. Anthony wasn't as popular. Not a lot of people know who the guy is. For him to be the guy that's doing the post-documentary interviews, where's the documentary stuff, when they had the popular person doing the pre-interview stuff to generate the money, I do think that that's a little bit strange. Also, for Victoris Libertas to clickbait this, where did the Honeybee go? Let's discuss Kids Inc. Everyone's thinking they're going to talk to the Honeybee. When they go in there, they don't even discuss the Honeybee. Why do people want to know where the Honeybee is? Well, Honeybee's viewers want to know because she doesn't make videos anymore. She disappeared on Twitter, but it turns out she renamed her Twitter to Kids Inc., I think, something like that. And not a lot of people have heard of her. In fact, other people have stated that that Honeybee is not missing in action, but that she is turned into a spy who is helping the authorities bust rings on a motorcycle. You think I'm lying? You think I'm crazy? Let me bring it up. Let me pull this. Let me pull this up for you, because if I don't play it, I really do think you will not believe me. So let's do that really quick.
y'all doing today? Just want to give y'all a quick update. So, just to really quickly let y'all know, I talked to some of the other people in the truth community. I did call.
Huh, weird. There's that word again.
And text the honeybee again after the video I did talking about it yesterday. Got no response.
Nobody wants to talk to
Ryan,
you.
Random Rants Ryan, he's into some stuff. But in terms of like posting onto YouTube or Twitter or any of those types of things, I guess the honeybee's done. She's done with the circus that is YouTube, done with the circus that's social media. So yes, she's still working on the documentary.
Normally, I wouldn't play this guy because he's a doxer, admittedly. He doesn't even care. He doesn't even hide it. He's doxed several people, threatens people a lot. Really bad guy. But he's the only one who has contact with her, which I also think is a red flag.
The documentary that was supposed to be released in June last year, she's still working on it.
Anything like that, okay? So she's just done with the circus that's YouTube, which is completely that's completely respectable.
I don't know. I think it's respectable if you are done with YouTube, you're done with Twitter, you delete your Patreon. If your Patreon is tied to those things, really strange in my opinion. Maybe not. Maybe I'm being judgmental there, but I don't feel that way. But I'll let him continue for a second.
I've thought about multiple times. I've thought about
really respectful. Respectable? Yeah, respectable.
It's really weird. That's the same thing VLTV said about Anthony.
Persona and just going as an anonymous person on YouTube.
This gets
couldn't
rich.
Identify.
It's really strange. These are the only updates that we have towards it. So this happened before the discussion with Anthony. So could you not? Now, I want you guys to do me a favor. I want you to close your eyes. Close your eyes and imagine that you watched a YouTuber. They asked you, along with this guy and a bunch of other people, to donate money to a GoFundMe campaign for a documentary. You had watched them for a while, so you gave a chunk of money to them for it. It didn't come out. You started to notice that they start changing the names of their social media. They start leaving YouTube. They start not putting out any updates whatsoever. Now, I know it sounds crazy, and I sound like the most insane person ever, but doesn't that kind of like scare you? If you're just a viewer, you don't have a channel, and you've given $1,000, $500, $250, right? I mean, it would scare me a little bit.
And just rebirthing myself as an anon and just going dark. And that's still a potential for the future.
Yeah, that would be if you'd done some of the things that you'd done. Like, if you have a good reputation, I don't see why that you'd want to. But, yeah, I get it. When you dox people like crazy and do all those things, I get it.
For me, if things get...
Might I suggest Dustin Hoffman Anon? Just because of your nose?
Too heated, if people, start showing up at my door and stuff, then, that might be the case. If I start losing contracts or things like that, then yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. So, I don't think there's anything necessarily nefarious going on. I think that she's just done with this circus.
Okay, so he's going to repeat himself now, and I'm going to respond. And somebody drop me a link, please. One of you guys in the chat, drop me a link to the motorcycle story where she's in New York. She's on a motorcycle, busting a ring, helping the cops, like doing some crazy ass movie type stuff. Somebody, mods, grab me a link, put it in the chat, please. What gets me, right, is what, and this is really weird. Several of these YouTube channels who helped advertise the documentary, they are the type of people that think everything's fake. Okay? They think everything's fake. Even with video evidence, they think it's fake. and they believe in things that there are literally no evidence to believe. But they want us to believe that they are just making up their minds that way, that they don't have some other motivation to continually make up their mind that way. Now, I could go to 4 more YouTubers that are all in this group and show you that they all naturally made up their mind that way. But most intelligent people are going to say, you guys have sat down and talked together and told each other that you need to do damage control on this, and that's what you're doing. I hate being that guy. I hate it. Because it's like the last thing that like this type of video is not a good video, right? It's not edited well, of course. If you just got here, I've been sick today. My lymph node's swollen up. I was going to put out a video. I cannot. I'll get there tomorrow. I decided I'd go live and update you, though, because every day I wait, more stuff builds up. So anyway, thought I'd do an old-fashioned live show. Yeah, if you will. Is it on your channel, Freddie? Can you drop me the title of it? I need the motorcycle clip because it's just too crazy. I want to know what happened with this motorcycle, right? Here, Freddie, I'm going to give you a wrench so that you can drop it. Let me make sure I got you. Yeah. And I'll give OG one also since he's going to help me a little bit in the future here. Yeah. Then on top of that, you just got to wait until you hear this motorcycle thing. It's freaking crazy. Well, thanks. Hello. Goodbye. Appreciate you. Oh, I couldn't even, like, I was just, you know what? You guys told me to use hot tea with honey in it. I've been drinking that all day. I'm about to make another cup here in a minute. In fact, if Rachel would make me a cup of hot tea with honey in it, I would be so happy, but she doesn't have to. It's okay. I'll do it myself. She doesn't have to do it. I'm going to get in trouble, dude. She's going to get mad at me. Anyway, we'll get to the motorcycle story because I don't get it. I really don't get it. Xenu has left the building, but Freddie had a lot of good stuff to say about his investigations in our live stream. So while I'm grabbing that link, while my mods look for it, while Freddie looks for it, I'm going to play a little bit of what OG had to say last night on the UNIRock archive. We did a video together on Bizzy's UNIRock archive, but you can just type UNIRock archive and it comes right up. Victoris Libertas dancing with the devils with OGwanKEnobi. New YouTube Hydra starts to form. And I'll go into the whole Hydra thing after I finish with the documentary part.
Rather than having jobs, all they got to do is talk about the pizza, stuff like that, and push the pizza and whatever else they're pushing, and makes money, don't it? You know, they've got a lot of people that are indoctrinated with this stuff and almost brainwashed, I'd say, that will just keep coming back for more and donating. It's just the way it is. It's the power of how well they've put this stuff together. You know, it's I see a lot of people that I know that are, you know, really good people and stuff that got into this for the right reasons. Not talking about the people that make the content, but the supporters. You know, they actually do believe there's something going on. They're worried.
Up on a tip
that's what these people prey on.
About
preying on their emotions and stuff like that, and the fact that they will keep coming back.
No, I mean the other one.
See, they've got some sort of hope.
Can you get me the link where Titus is talking about the motorcycle thing? I'm sorry to ask you guys to do that for me. I'll find it in a second. I just don't know where it's at. I figured Titus or Freddie would know where it's at on Titus's channel because he responded to it. But I want to hear Titus talk about this motorcycle thing and present it as just a logical story because that's how he gave it to us. I really want to, I really want to hear this motorcycle thing. Let me see if I can find it.
This is going to be investigated, and some kids are going to be helped and stuff like that, and whatnot. And it's the power. It's the power of the scam. You know, that it is what it is. It's I don't know any other.
I will play some of Freddie's videos, guys, but I'm not going to play that one because it's made in kind of a poking fun nature at her, and I don't want to do that. If I do that, it'll just generate a lot of hate from that side. And remember, these guys have struck my channel. I put out the evidence that they did. These guys have harassed me on Twitter. They tried to spread rumors that I wasn't in the military, so I had to re-release my military pictures and shit and my military documents. So these guys, like, I'm not saying Honeybee would do that, but she was involved in spreading that information on Twitter. So maybe they kind of deserve me to do that, but I'm going to try to take the high road, at least in that situation.
Another way how to put it, Uni. You know,
I agree with you, man. I agree. It just seems so. What really shocks me is that people buy it. That's what gets me. I've tried to look in from the outside. I've tried to think like a random human being that maybe when I first started YouTube, I was much more naive about YouTube. I watched. I'm gonna try to find it on his channel really quick. Maybe I can. 1310 for a while, and of course I knew that this guy seems like the biggest shill ever. But I was like, I really she's like been the kidnapped. I ended up finding You're out being that serious though, right? He creates all of his videos. I just want to make sure it's a serious video. So my point is, when I first stumbled in, I was kind of not as. I came into YouTube in my head as a viewer before I was a YouTuber, and I came in as a YouTuber the same way, very naive. I thought, well, a shill's definitely a very small percentage. There's no way I'll bump into one, but it's almost like they seek you out. Actually, that's how they did it to me. Several of them seek me. I don't know. I'm having trouble finding the motorcycle story. I know someone has it. I know someone has this damn motorcycle. Oh. Okay. Do you know what date it is, OG, or like the title? You don't have to, but
back when I didn't have subs,
I'm looking.
So, however that goes, but
yeah, it's bizarre. It's we hear this stuff about shills and stuff. I mean, the truth, like you say, the truth community is a very, it feels ridiculous even saying this, but it is a very.
One other thing, Cindy, if you have a timestamp, please drop it for me. No, it was just, I'm not saying that he told it. Look, he said he was telling some kind of story. I know the motorcycle thing's supposed to be the funny part, but it was about her in New York City and all that shit. That's all I'm looking for. I don't know. Was it a spoof? I don't know. Was he joking? I have no idea, but let me see if this is it.
Yo, what's up, everyone? So I just want to have a quick discussion because I think for the...
Okay, I got the link. If you guys have a timestamp to help me out, let me know, and I'll try to find it.
I've used the word truth very loosely, but it's very much just full of disinfo.
All right, I'll look. Wake now. I'll look for you.
The topics,
I'm going there now.
Pizzagate, QAnonymous, whatever. You've got the alien shit and all that UFO stuff, New Age religion, flat Earth, whatever. There's a hell of a lot of disinfo in there, but there are some good people there that have been there, and they've seen this stuff unfolding.
Okay, yeah. This is what I was looking for right here. Wake Now has it. And why is it taking me to gaming.youtube.com? This is so crazy.
Well, hello everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whatever time it is you decided to tune into this video. Thank you for stopping by. Now, the money thief Zachariah was making a documentary.
This is Wake Now's opinions. I am trying to be as neutral as possible for a bit, just to know. Just so you know, but I will play what Wake had to say. For these guys who will attack me in the future for playing this, I am playing it because it is the only. If I could play them explaining it, I would. Since I can't, I'm going to get other people's opinions.
She cashed out on the 11 grand, and nobody's heard from.
Okay, 11 grand. Okay, Anthony said 20 or 30. Or he said 20, but we'll go with 11, I suppose.
In months. Even people associated with her and this documentary will not tell anybody what is going on with her. So here we have Titus Frost giving us what I guess you could call an update on her whereabouts. And let's listen to this ridiculous fucking story that he has to say. All right, let me set this up, grab my speaker real quick.
And here's the link to this in case you guys want it.
Now, one of the big warriors in our movement here, I would say, is MIA. I contacted the honeybee. We would be in contact probably like once or twice a week at least up until October.
Okay, so for those of you that just got here, because when I started this off, there was only like 50 people here. Now it's closer to 150, and there's people on Periscope. So let me state what we're doing. I have been asked to cover this story so many times since July, which is the first time it got delayed. And I kindly waited until December when it got delayed again, and kindly even waited up until now to discuss it. I'm not saying that this is not going to come out. I'm not making any type of crazy claim. I'm reacting and telling you what I think about Victoris Libertas. I'm reacting and telling you what this side of the coin thinks, which is, I guess, the little network, the little multi-channel network that these guys have that all work together, right? And I'm going to let you know what the people who criticize them think so we can all make up our mind. Although I have told you about Victoris Libertas, if you recall, and I didn't say this, but let me get this out while I can. Victoris Libertas has stated that from a video a couple weeks ago, they don't understand why they're getting less views and that people aren't watching them as much as they used to. And I would say to Victoris Libertas, there are too many people out there now who, because of these guys admitting who their lawyer is, because of these guys admitting who they take payments from, and because of other information that I will not go into detail on because they will strike me if I go into detail about. I had a video explaining all of it with their own words, but they struck it. So I put out the evidence. Now, my deal is when you start to defend people for very illogical things, like if you go to Victoris Libertas, you can hear them criticizing people for doing what is going on here. So when it's not a person inside this multi-channel network, they will persecute them. They will have the opinion that they are ripping people off. They will have a bad opinion when it's not a person in this network. When it is, only when it is, like they'll tell you that certain Democrats and certain political people are very evil with no evidence to back up their claim. They'll make up evidence. They'll state that, that they have a code word filter that makes them evil. But when it comes to someone in their own group, doing things, they don't have, I'm not asking them to be as mean as they are to Democrats or as mean as they are to other people. I'm stating you could at least chime in when Anthony is bullshitting everybody and let him know, like, well, people do have a really good reason to be upset. Because I'm going to tell you this. All these guys thought that all the people who stood up and started criticizing them, all of these guys thought that we would never have an effect, right? They thought that we would basically, if they did attack us and lie about us and strike our channels, that our information wouldn't get out there. But them attacking us, making up lies about us, striking our channels, actually got a lot more people to look into this situation. Because when you are when you're not lying, when you aren't making things up, when you're not defending someone for ripping off a community, you don't typically lie and strike channels. It's just like, why do it? Why break the YouTube rules to try to silence someone that criticizes you if you're on the up and up? You get me? So everything they've done, in their heads, they're like, oh yeah, this will never have an effect. But then you find out a couple months later, which it does take a couple months for information to ricochet through YouTube. Even though I have 38,000 subs on my main channel, if I did it there, it would still take a while for information to ricochet. I've got 13,000 here. It would still take a while for information to ricochet. If I do it on my channel with 1,000 subs, it'll take even more time to ricochet around. But it doesn't mean that the information will not ricochet around. So for them to wonder, like, damn, we thought this information wouldn't harm us. We thought people would believe us. Why are they believing these people that criticize us? Well, because we've got hard evidence for the things that we've said about them, and our criticisms are founded on actual, real principles that we use to criticize anyone else. We don't, make up one rule for a person in our group and let them get away with a bunch of stuff, but then criticize everyone else in the world for the exact same thing. You get me? And I do think that has driven this thing to happen where even though they believe that no one's going to believe a criticizer, if that criticizer has hard evidence, they're going to believe them. Like when I put out the evidence that I was struck by these guys, I think a lot of people were like, oh shit. Right? Of course, not a lot of people saw it at first. When they struck me, it made even more people talk about it. When they struck the video down, more people talked about it. So, in my opinion, to respond to Victoris Libertas' video from a few weeks ago, where he's wondering why he's not getting views, he's wondering why he's not gaining subs like he used to. If you stopped only applying your criticisms to people that aren't in your group, then maybe people would take you more seriously. People do think about things like that, in my opinion.
And then, like, just, she went totally silent. So I reached out to her. Hey, band. I reached out to her on Twitter with DM and got no response for a couple days, which is really odd, because normally I hear back, like, within a day or so. And I didn't hear back, so I texted her, and I got no text back. So now I'm like, what the hell is going on?
And this whole time, like, let's just say that I did a GoFundMe campaign for a documentary, and I collected $20,000, and I delayed it 4 times. They would have started laughing and pointing fingers and criticizing me within the first delay. You know they would, right? Let's say OG did it. Oh yeah, they'd go batshit crazy. Let's say Hillary Clinton did it. Oh yeah, they'd go batshit. You know, I don't care who it is. If it was anyone else other than somebody in this little network, they would criticize the hell out of them. I think the hypocrisy, the level of cringe that comes with this kind of hypocrisy is what drives people to pay attention. And that's why I'm choosing, you know, to show this video. I think it's very relevant.
Last time I spoke to her, you know, she was doing stuff like staking out potential child.
Here we go. So, we are told by Anthony that Anthony, the guy who actually worked on the documentary, we are told by Anthony that him, Honeybee, and the other person involved with the documentary, I forget that person's name, Heather Mittendorf, we were told by Anthony that they are facing problems in their lives, and that's why they can't put out the documentary. So I'd like to know how we are supposed to take anyone seriously that dresses up in a suit and tells us that basically this, and it's in complete contrast to what Anthony said.
Staking out potential child trafficking swap locations, investigating like Motel 6s. And
so she's staking out potential spots. So she doesn't even know. So she's out there just doing this on her own dime and her own time and with her own intuition.
Her own dime. Well, I would say if the money's not paid back and the documentary hasn't come out, the money that's being spent in that period of time, I don't know if you, maybe you would. I don't want to be too hard on anybody. People will get mad at me and criticize me if I'm too hard on anyone. I don't want to make anyone cry. I don't want any soy to start flowing, so I'll just let it go.
Okay. Yeah, listen to this. It gets more ridiculous. Apparently, she was conducting high-speed chases down the highway, chasing down pedophiles. I shit you not.
Stuff.
So if I was to tell you that the reason I delayed my GoFundMe campaign was because I was on a motorcycle rushing down the highway, chasing down these types of peds, as I will call them, to avoid YouTube algorithmic bot slayers for my video. If I was to tell you that, you guys would probably criticize the living hell out of me. My own viewers would. They'd be like, Uni, how do you expect us to believe this? And why didn't you record it if you were going to do it and expect us to believe it? Like, why in the hell is this going on? What are you talking? Have you lost your mind, UNIRock? Right?
We're seeing a sign. And I'm not going to say what we were seeing, but they were using
a sign. Oh, hold up. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. He was involved with it also. My bad.
A new symbol to signify to one another.
Make sure you understand that. A new symbol. A new symbol. I don't know if I should, have to tell you why that is horribly important. I'll go into it in a minute. A new symbol.
She was putting herself basically in harm's way. Thing. Just to give you an example of what was being seen, like Mercedes would pull up with kids in the back, and then you'd see a van pull up and block the Mercedes.
Wait, so we would find a symbol out there. A symbol. Now, why is that important? I'm going to need to get sketchy for a minute. I haven't done this in a while. I love getting sketchy. I usually use crayons, but I'm going to put on a suit and use a pen instead of using crayons. I want to put on a nice little professional suit here to do this. Let me tell you why that is a major red flag, and then we'll move on because it's getting too crazy here. Okay. So, one of the other things that I'm asked about more than why I don't believe in flat Earth, like a lot of people say, but UNIRock, why don't you believe that the Earth is flat? And I'll tell you why. I'll show you a plethora of evidence that it's not flat. And I'll tell you, if you want to believe it's flat, you can. I'm not going to hate you for it. It's your choice. I choose to believe in a globe due to the amount of evidence that we have that trumps all the other evidence out there. Well, a lot of people ask me that same question about Pizza G. Of course, you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to avoid the YouTube bots here. They will restrict my video if I say those types of words too much. They'll restrict it from the search. So, here's what Pizza G is. A lot of people say, how can you debunk Pizza G, Mr. Rock? I'm glad you asked, because I have figured... Now, alike with the flat Earth, I have given very simple reasons. You can get into the complex reasons if you want with flat Earth. Why the Earth is a globe. And you can get into the simple reasons why Pizza G, is fake as hell. All right? So let's do the simple reasons, and maybe I'll do the complex reasons on the UNIRock archive sometime. Some of you will ask me, but didn't Titus reach out to you? Yeah, he did. And some of you may say, why did he get angry with you and start lying to everyone about you and putting out misinformation about you then if he was reaching out to you? Because I let him know that his documentary was full of debunkable information. That's the more complex stuff. I did a live stream on it. You can still find it. You can still see me debunk 90% of what's in his documentary. The only 10% you can't debunk because it's very loose information. But the main information, if you know what it is you've got Democrats during the election and you've got Republicans, right? We know that Trump, the Republican, won the election. And I hate politics, just so you know. I just want to make sure you understand I do not like politics. I'm not going to talk about it for long. But a conspiracy theory surfaces from 4chan that says that a guy there is, what was it? You could apply certain code words to the Democrats' emails and it would reveal that they are very evil. Now, I do believe that a lot of politicians are evil. I do believe they do illegal things. I do believe a lot of the rich people in the world are corrupt, elite people. But I also believe that they like making up conspiracy theories about themselves so that people aren't looking at the real evil things they're doing and they're looking at extreme evil things they're not doing so that it distracts from the real evil things they're doing. I believe that. I know you do too. I don't care if you believe in Pizza G. I don't care if you don't. You still agree with me. You agree that that is a tactic, right? If you know that you have committed some atrocious acts. Hey, Rachel, did you put honey in this? Okay. Anyway, if you've committed some horribly atrocious acts and you know that people on YouTube and blogs are going to expose you, the best thing you can do is distract everyone with something that's not true. And then what that'll do is other people that are on your side will be like, man, these guys are lying about that person. They must be a good person that doesn't do anything evil because they've got a bunch of people lying about evil things they do. So what did they say that they did? They said that John Podesta's hacked emails, which are this square here. These are John's hacked emails. Hacked mail. Now, it was released by a website, WikiLeaks. People poured through the emails. they found some really nasty stuff in the emails that had like political things that he was doing that were really dirty, ways that they were like feeding questions to people in the crowd so they could ask them and help them with debates. Really fucked up shit you're not supposed to do. All of a sudden, though, this same place that released these hacked emails releases a document. And this document says that if you apply these code words, they tell you what the code words are and what the code words mean. Like they say that a hot dog is a boy and that a pasta is something else. If you apply those words to Johnny Podesta's emails that were leaked, it turns him into a trafficker. So why is it that I say I don't believe Pizza G? Well, one, I know that during elections, there are tons of misinformation, conspiracy theories, and other things collected to try to damage a certain side. I know that happens. One. And two, if you could give me real evidence that says that these code words apply to these emails, I may say, okay, it's time to look deeper. You can't go arrest the guy if you apply these to the emails. You can't just go arrest him because he could stand in court and say, no, judge, those emails, those code words aren't applicable to my emails. Right? So you can't just arrest him for these code words coming out. He could say those are old code words released in the early 2000s. They don't have any, and the investigation happened in the late 80s and early 90s. They don't apply. That's messed up, judge, to send me to prison when you have no proof that these code words were used on my emails, that I use those code words. So you would think that the main thing that Pizza G YouTubers are trying to do is to give you hard evidence, not anything circumstantial, no breadcrumbs, hard evidence that these code words are applicable to the emails. And because if they do that, they win. Their conspiracy theory immediately becomes true if they do that. And if this guy was using those code words, it wouldn't be hard to prove it. They just need to dig. They just need to collect evidence. The other part of this is that 1,000 people on YouTube started to try and do just that. They tried to go in and prove to you that these code words do apply to Podesta's mails. Again, I think Podesta is a creeper. I don't like him. I have many reasons why I don't, and many reasons why I think he's a creeper. But does that mean that I will just automatically believe that code words apply to his emails? Not without evidence. And neither would the court, and neither would any other logical person. But you could convince some conspiratorial people that they do. You could con them into donating a lot of money by convincing them that, and you could get a pretty good following on YouTube that you try to shy away from eventually these things and move into other conspiratorial things to continue making money if that was true. So, without the connection, then this is nothing. So what do those 1,000 YouTubers over a period of 3 years, do they work their asses off to investigate, because they say they're investigative journalists, to prove this? No. What do? Well, you're looking right here at one of the main people on YouTube that make money off of this conspiracy. Instead, they make documentaries trying to pull all this other fake evidence in, so that there's so much fake evidence in front of you, you eventually give up the logical process and you just say, okay, fuck it, I believe it. And you would think, right, that a lot of people would never do that. Like, because if someone tried to set you up and say that your emails, that you were using a code in your emails, if someone tried to set you up that way, you wouldn't want the entire world to just believe someone who came out and said that with no evidence. This guy would hate it if somebody tried to say that code words were hidden in his videos that prove that he is doing evil things. He would hate that. He'd get really mad. He threatened to fight people. He threatened to fight me for just debunking his documentaries. He did. I have it saved. It's a pretty good video. You should watch it. So anyway, if we know that these guys, before they can spend 3 years collecting money off of Pizza G for all this extra stuff that doesn't apply whatsoever unless the foundation is set. Like I said, so if you've got a pyramid, flip it upside down. Now, in order for the pyramid to stay up, you got one block right here holding this pyramid up. This pyramid is years and years and years of people on the internet saying that Pizza G is real. You've got 1,000 people. They're so convinced that one of them goes to the courthouse in Washington, D.C., screams at the top of his lungs that Johnny P is a blank. Johnny P is a blank. As loud as he can. But the weird thing about this pyramid is if you have not proven ahead of time that this block is real, the entire pyramid is nothing. It completely topples over. It crumbles into nothingness. All of the data they put out all relies on the fact that those emails are real. That's why people believe them. So until they, not me, not someone else, until they prove the basic point of their conspiracy with hard evidence, not extremely crafted evidence, then we don't, it would be very foolish of us to believe them on this crazy conspiracy theory. This is as bad as Flat Earth, right? And Flat Earth, it's just people thinking the Earth is flat, right? So who's harmed there? Sure, people won't, learn things about science. They won't learn things about space or astronomy. That's their own decision. But when it comes to this, these guys are experts in propagandizing people into thinking that they don't have to prove that those emails even relate. And that's how they formed their following. So yes, in the end, make sure you understand that. And make sure you're not letting people, when someone comes to you and says, hey, Pizza G's real, make sure you say first, oh, well, good. Give me that evidence that those code words apply to those emails so that I know it's real. Because really, you could say that he used code words, fine. How do you know that the code words didn't mean that he liked playing tennis? How do you know the code words didn't mean anything different? There's no evidence that those code words apply. And really, those code words are old. And I've made this great point about it ever since I started talking about this stuff. Those code words were a specific investigation in Italy. They weren't the entire world or the entire internet, right? So my point being, even if they were used all over the entire internet, it doesn't mean that a cook might not be talking about food. So let's hear what he has to say, because he's about to tell us that you don't have to be mad at the people who made this documentary because a person inside of their multi-channel network says that they're out busting crime on motorcycles, high-speed chases, finding symbols. Now, remember, I told you that him stating that they found new symbols, that's the reason why I'm telling you they will try to build a new Hydra. Hydra is my metaphorical word for all of this, and I'll tell you why I say Hydra in a minute. But that's a little clue, and Anthony gave some little clues too. And I do think that these guys, which is all of the people who I've proven who is a part of the Hydra up to now, I completely think that this year they're going to try to come up with new code words and replace their old Pizza G with something new. And they're going to try to sprinkle it all over the internet in weird places so that in the next election, they can create another fervor, another conspiracy fervor that they can make money off of. I do think that's what they're going to do. So ahead of time, I'm making a couple videos here and on UNIRock Archive so that if they do try to come out with new symbols, they do try to come out with a new conspiracy, we are prepared. We can show you how. They're just doing what they did back in 2016. Again, because their old conspiracy isn't making them the money that it used to.
Pull up and block the Mercedes, and then you'd see the Mercedes drive off with no kids in the back. Then the van would drive off in another direction, and she would be crazy enough to, according to her, I wasn't there at the time.
but you've been saying we this whole time, buddy. And oh, I just opened Audacity. Sorry, here we go. You've been saying we the whole time, though, man. You know, I don't know. I'm not trying to shit on your parade or anything, right? Like, I'm not trying to rain on your proverbial conspiratorial parade here, but you know, I'll let you keep going.
But what she was saying was that she would then follow the van to the next location, and sometimes they'd see her following and go at really high speed. So there'd be like some high speed chases down.
Oh,
it is kind of funny.
High-speed chases. Somebody who's not authorized to be doing this work, endangering others on the road so she can high-speed.
Of course, I don't believe a word of it. I think he called her. I think they sat around and said, what are we going to do to get people off our asses? And I think, because he actually pushed this documentary also, and I think that he said, I'll do some damage control. I'll convince the idiots that believe our conspiracies that you're out, you know. Oh, Honeybee Marvel. She's being Honeybee Marvel. That'd be a good meme.
Chase down potential child traffickers that she doesn't even know that they're actually being trafficked or that children are even being trafficked. It's just so fucking ridiculous, people.
Because you know that's illegal, right? For one, it's illegal for her to do it unless she is a secret agent, like an FBI or CIA agent, and she hasn't told us about it. In fact, I think it's weird because if I would come out and tell a story like this, people would say, see, I knew that UNIRock guy was a CIA agent. I knew he was an FBI. It would cause conspiracy theories if I told you I was doing this. So it's just a little funky. These guys get to tell these kind of stories all day, but they're not FBI or CIA informants or agents. They're actually admitting that they're permitted by law. They're either lying or they're admitting that they're permitted by law to find symbols. They don't have to prove it in a court of law. They don't have to get a warrant, right? They don't need no warrant. They don't need shit. These guys have like top secret CIA clearance, right? Because they don't need shit. They just say, there's a symbol on that building. Oh my God, a van just pulled up. Oh my God, a mother, a soccer mom in a soccer van with soccer balls just pulled up, and a kid with cleats on is getting into another car, and there's a dad there. And then the soccer mom and the dad start arguing about a divorce, and then they get in other cars, and now the dad, he's taking the kid. We better chase him down and arrest this dad because he's trafficking. They didn't just get divorced, and they're not just like, you know, dropping their kids off, even though the divorce rate's very high in the country right now. No, there's no other possibility, and we don't have to have due process. We have some type of weird so we have some type of strange ass permission from the government to go around and arrest people and pull them over and chase them on motorcycles.
Oh man. Oh yeah, I have a hard time believing this shit. It's all bullshit.
Me too.
It's all a money scheme, folks. Wake up. Smell the bullshit. All right.
Really good video from Wake Now. Yeah, I miss this kind of stuff because it's boring. This video is boring. Kind of. I mean, it's a good value. Maybe somebody who donated.
Speaking with today?
Maybe somebody that donated to, you know, this campaign. Maybe they'll find my video, this video. Maybe they'll actually listen for a little bit. Maybe they'll get some information that they don't get, because a lot of people are like, no one would believe this after seeing Titus's video. All of them would be mad and want their money back. But why won't they? Because they're not going to see his video, right? People are living lives. I watch YouTube every day, and I still don't see this stuff because I'm not tracking it. You probably watch YouTube every day. You probably didn't see this insane story, right? They kind of like, these guys really know how YouTube work, right? They really have some good information about what they can get away with and what they can't, what they can say and what they can't say, whether they'll be believed or whether they won't. And you'd say to yourself, yeah, but anyone dumb enough to make this story up after doing a GoFundMe campaign for all that money, anyone that would do that, they got to know they're going to get busted. Well, that's why they strike channels. That's why they struck my last video. That's why they've struck JoelBot. By the way, people like Wake Now, F and Freddy, OG1, and JoelBot have been putting out information that completely exposes this scam. They've been doing this for a long time. They expose a lot of people's scams on YouTube. So, you know, the problem is JoelBot has received more strikes on videos that have to do with this kind of thing than I've seen for anyone out there. You know, they are constantly trying to come up with different strikes to throw, because you got to ask yourself, if JoelBot is doing it in fair use, if JoelBot is doing it like he is supposed to do it, if he's following the rules of YouTube, these free speech advocate, conservative, pedo-busting type of YouTubers wouldn't want his videos to go down. They'd want him to have his voice. They want him to have his constitutional rights. And I very much apologize for me having to say this, but if you look at their actions, you don't see someone that even cares about due process or privacy or any constitutional belief. You don't see any these people that care about free speech, because they want to shut down criticizers. And everything they shut down, everything they fight against, it has to do with criticizing their, what I call, scams. You don't have to call it a scam. I'm not going to hate on you. I'm not trying to convince you it's a scam. Although, this is the kind of thing that I think people need to see. There's some other videos we need to see. There's some other situations out there you need to see. This guy, remember how I told you about Dave Totoshini right here, and how he is in a little group of YouTubers that Titus fella and these other guys that did the documentary, they defend Dave Totoshini. It took them months after acknowledging that they knew about what happened with Dave. It took them months of the community hammering them before they would come out and talk about it, because they know how it works. Somebody like JoelBot proving that Dave Totoshini admitted that he is this, and proving that Dave Totoshini has done these certain things. JoelBot doing it, it's not going to get seen by their viewers. If they do it, I guarantee you there's a bunch of people subscribed to Mr. Frosty that were subscribed to Mr. Net for Truth USA, the guy that admitted all this. Now, it's really weird because this guy got proven to be a guy who constantly does videos on kids being murdered and abused, and it turned out he wasn't doing something that was as criminally, like he wouldn't have went to jail for like 10 or 20 years for what he did. He would have only went for about 5 or 15 years, but he got busted and admitted with his own mouth that he also was conducting this type of behavior that Mr. Totoshini was busted conducting. Fully sourced, got a YouTube channel. What happens after he's busted? He disappears just like the other guys. Now, there was even someone else that got busted. Who was the other guy? There were 3 people, I think, right? Or was it 2? It might have been 2. You guys will let me know. We'll get the other guy later. Franklin Cover-Up, Eagle Eye says, listen, I know what you're trying to do. Eagle-Eyed. I know what you're trying to do, right? You're trying to ask me about real provable situations that have something to do with child abuse, so that you can try to get me to say something that you can go around saying he supports people abusing kids. That's what you're trying to do right now. These guys lying to you about Pizza G has nothing to do with these other situations. They have, yes, included them into it themselves, and it was smart. It was smart for these guys to include the Franklin thing and the thing that happened in England with that one. I forget the name of it, right? It was smart of them to include these legit cases of these things happening into Pizza G, because that's how they fooled people like you into giving validity to Pizza G. Oh, if we mix real cases in with it. But the truth of the matter is, those cases have nothing to do with Pizza G. Pizza G had to do with the emails, had to do with those specific people, and had to do with a ring they were running. When they realized they couldn't prove Pizza G, they had to start taking real situations and adding them into their conspiracy, almost like Q does, right? So, we know now, let's sum this up really quick. We know now that, yeah, they do, and Eagle-Eyed. He says that 200,000 kids go missing each year. I don't know where you're getting your statistic from, but I believe it. I'm not going to challenge you on it. And what do you think happens when a group of YouTubers that are seeking only to make money off of those missing kids continually distract people with fantasy around the topic and do their best to maintain some type of political narrative from the topic instead of treating it like it is a serious, horrible, reprehensible topic, right? What do you think happens when people are distracted by fake things that have to do with this instead of the real things that have to do with this, right? It actually helps these types of bad guys continue with less attention on the real cases. These guys, if you want to try to argue it, you're most likely him logged into his other account or one of his little supporters or one of their supporters. But there's been I don't know if you haven't paid attention to YouTube lately. There's just too much evidence out there. There's more evidence on these guys lying to you daily and pushing fake conspiracies than there is that back up the conspiracy that you're defending. Okay? So let's sum this up really quick. Let's take a listen to the only information that we really have out there from someone who has continually had one of the documentary makers on their show. Let's sum up what he said. Let's see how believable it is. How does it factor in? We'll at least give him, I mean, Eagle wants us to give the benefit of the doubt that these guys are tracing down symbols, jumping on high-speed chases, helping the cops arrest people. Let's try to think about and sum that up and how it relates to the video that we just talked about on Victoris Libertas. Let me get the actual video of Victoris Libertas. We don't need that now. This is it. Okay, let me refresh it. I updated my graphics driver. It turns all videos green if I don't refresh them. So let's go into that and how it relates to the documentary, and then go into what Anthony said and whether we believe him. And thanks for watching. Anyone out there who isn't going to just like, anyone out there that maintains the integrity of this video by not trying to clip certain things out and smash things together, I give you full permission to use parts of this video and comment on it, re-upload it, whatever you want to do, as long as you're not going to clip parts out and try to change what I'm saying in the video. You have my permission. So let's talk about this really quick. If you want to know what I think about these other cases, the cases that have real evidence that have been taken to court or that are going there, you could just email me and I'll answer you. I'm going to say the same thing about every case. I believe that people who do this stuff to kids need to go to jail, not for 5 or 10 years. They need to go permanently to jail. They need to face harsh punishments, and that they need to not be allowed to fool people 5 or 10 years later, about 6 months after they get out of prison for doing this. They need to not be permitted to jump onto YouTube and talk about murdered kids and abused kids every day, in my opinion. Some of you are going to hate me for that, but they should. Those pedophiles should have free speech. UNIRock is what some of you will say. I don't believe they should. The only, you lose your rights when you're a criminal. And I think letting them out of jail in 5 years is just bullshit. As long as you've got concrete evidence, they shouldn't be out. They shouldn't be allowed to do it again. The amount of them that reoffend, in my opinion, is hella horrible to allow them that opportunity again. Okay. So, did I close his video? Because I need it really quick. I wanted to look at the comments of his video. I'll pull it back up. So basically now, we started out wondering where the Mrs. B is, because Anthony told us that she's okay. A lot of people thought that she may have had something bad happen, right? A lot of people thought she might have been hurt, kidnapped, disappeared, because Honeybee wouldn't just stop production on the documentary when she already took people's money. So a lot of people thought that. Anthony tells us that she's perfectly fine. Everything's okay. Don't worry about her. You'll see her soon. Luckily, though, a week or two before Anthony says this, we've got this guy telling us that she's involved in high-speed police chases, aiding authorities in tracking down criminals. The way they do it, he even described it. They find a symbol on a wall, right? And remember, symbols are something he pushes in his PG documentary. So my biggest criticism of the PG thing is those code words, those symbols that were used. As soon as they were released to the public in 2007, these criminal organizations would use different symbols so they wouldn't get busted. These guys said I was crazy for thinking that. I think that the criminal organizations, if they ever did use those symbols, would have stopped using them the instant they were put out by the FBI, if they were put out by the FBI. Although he thinks I'm crazy. What is very disturbing about it, he's saying you can take new symbols that only he knows about. You can drive around town. So he's saying, and I'm not, hey, you can't get mad at me. Honeybee can't get mad at me for this. This is what he said. Honeybee's out driving up and down New York City or some big town looking for symbols. As soon as she spots one, she stakes it out. So stakeouts, they take a lot of time, right? Stakeouts were 8 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. Police stakeouts or criminal stakeouts, they take a lot of time. And she sat there one time and witnessed a car pull up and take kids out of a van and put them into another car. And she had to chase the car down, calling the cops, allowing professionals to handle this. Really bad idea in Titus in her head. But chasing them down themselves, that's what you need to do. So that's where Honeybee is, because he's had her on his channel like 100 times. So if there's one person that will tell us what she's saying, it's him. She expects us to believe what he says most of the time. I don't think she's going to come out and say that he's lying about this story, right? What would she say? That Titus made it all up? And what would that say about him if he did? So let's just assume he didn't make it up. He heard it straight from her. So that might explain, right? Even though he doesn't say it, that might explain why she hasn't got the documentary done, right? It takes a lot of money to do a stakeout. It takes a lot of money to drive up and down streets looking for symbols. It takes a lot of money to do high-speed chases. It takes a lot of money to arrest the criminals after you chase them down, to prosecute them, all that. I would imagine it takes a lot of time and money to do it. So we have to believe that. What I want to know is, why didn't Anthony tell us about this police chase? Because he's on Victorious Libertas. He knows there's going to be a bunch of people that see it, right? The people that want to know when the documentary's coming out, they want details about the documentary, they're going to watch this video on Victorious Libertas, and they're going to get the info. I just don't get why Anthony, somebody who probably was with Honeybee when this happened, didn't mention anything about it. I hate to go where I'm about to go, because it's going to cause people, grown adults, to get mad at me and cry. Could Titus and Honeybee be lying about that situation? Could they have just, what I say is, so he talks about Honeybee. She definitely watched him. You think she didn't call him back and say, why the hell did you say that on your channel? Delete that video right now. I don't want people thinking I'm out stalking down people based on symbols and going on high-speed police chases, right? If Honeybee was upset about it, he would have listened to his friend, his business partner. He would have taken it off his channel. It's still there, right? So we can at least say to ourselves, yes, Honeybee does approve of the video being up. Okay. So anyway, back to this thing so we can get off this subject and get this done. Let me be really real with you. Let me go ahead and tell you exactly my opinion so no one has to wonder. And mods, if anyone jumps in and starts talking about all these different subjects, tell them if they want to give an opinion on this subject to do it, or get out of the chat and kick them if they don't, I don't care if they talk about other stuff, but if they're trying to do what Eagle was doing, get them out of my chat. I can't even believe Eagle would defend these people, right? I mean, if they talk about Pizza G, then they need to be defended on every horrible thing they do. They can never answer for anything. They're the good guys. And anyone that would criticize them must think horrible things about other confirmed situations where bad things have happened, right, Eagle? So let me tell you how I really feel about this whole thing now that I've summed it up for you and went through it step by step and given you all the different evidences that we have in front of us to judge this. All right. I think it's very despicable that these people continue to treat their viewers that support them and give them money. These viewers that obviously are viewing them because they want bad guys to go to jail. They don't want kids to be hurt. It's despicable that they would go through this much of a LARP, of a lie, of this kind of insane story, this type of incredible bullshit to try and come out and defend, you know, just be honest. Just come out and say, look, it's going to take longer for this to get done. We'll get it to you as soon as we can. Why tell these kind of crazy stories? Why put this guy up to it? Guys, I tried to warn you about these people a long time ago, okay? They reached out to me. They wanted to come on my show. God bless America, I didn't let him come on, this guy. But I was nice enough to go to his, to try to feel out what was going on. And he had a good conversation with me. But the problem is, I tried to sit down and tell him, dude, your documentary on that and all your videos on this thing is completely out of touch with reality. And you're misleading people. No insult. I just want to give you the proof so that you can fix it, man. But those are his highest view videos. So whatever reason he wouldn't correct the document or correct his documentaries, the ones he made on Pizza G, I think it's because he still gets views on them and they bring in some type of Patreon money or some other thing. And how in the hell do you make your content center on other people's kids and the horrible things they go through, but make decisions like this, right? You make decisions that defend the money aspect of it instead of being honest in your content. Yeah, a gamer, a reaction channel, a commentator who does some dastardly, dirty little thing and gets busted for it, that's bad, right? And they end up either apologizing or playing off of it and moving on. But what if your content is that sensitive? You know, you have to be saying that there's some reason why we should trust these kind of people to give us opinions on other people's kids' worst moments of their lives, right? And they have the free speech to do this. And we have the free speech to stand up to them and to try to counter back and put some kind of logical information out there on the situation, okay? Let's get this video done. We're going to hit the 2-hour mark soon, and I want to have the whole thing uploaded. I think he's lying. I do think he would have taken down the video if Honeybee would have been mad about this video. So I think him and Honeybee did what he said, sat down, talked about it, and came up with this fucking crazy story. And they put it on his channel so that Honeybee could say, oh, no, Titus was just bullshitting. I don't know why Titus. It's just a defense mechanism. It's on his channel, so you can't criticize me for the story. No, we can. We can criticize both of you, right? Because I haven't heard her come out and say that this dude's crazy. If she did disavow this guy, I would have to... If she comes out and disavows this guy, I'll go ahead and disconnect this story from her, but she won't disavow him. And I'll tell you why I think that. I think that because the same people that pay these guys pay the other ones. That's why I call it a Hydra. A Hydra is a mythological beast from Greek and Roman mythology. It's like a dragon or a serpent that has a bunch of heads, and it has some very strange... I think that Perseus fought the Hydra, right? Let me type in mythological beast. Perseus or somebody who fought the Hydra. Hercules fought the Hydra, and it's a great story. If you read the original Greek tale of Hercules or Perseus, whoever the fuck did it, fighting the Hydra, it's a great story. I used to love these stories. I used to read them all the time. But what happens when you fight the Hydra? When you chop off one head, it regrows itself. It can regenerate. And you have to pretty much burn it in order for it to die. It will always come back. It will always find a way to escape. Once it starts to have its heads chopped off, it'll escape, it'll lay low, and it'll rush back. And I compare this group of YouTubers to this Hydra. Random Rants of Ryan, Titus, LTV, The Fang Go, these other people, because they all illogically defend each other. They all illogically attack anyone that criticizes them, even if it's done in the kindest, most gentle way, like I've done tonight. And they illogically tell lies to defend each other. And all of it is very simple to figure out. The goal is to manipulate the viewer. The goal is to go in and get the viewer to believe what they're saying so that they have an out. Hey, you can't hate us for defending Honeybee. We're just friends. No. It goes way beyond friends, right? When I found out that they all defended each other, stood up for each other, I just thought they were another group of YouTubers that talked about similar things. But when I found out that they all had a lawyer that Robert David Steele also had and Timothy Homseth also had, that's when I knew there was a company behind this group that pays for their lawyers, that sends them money, that does this thing. And that's dangerous. It goes beyond worrying about, you say, why would a normal group of YouTubers do all these dastardly things? And you think they must just be dastardly people. But when you realize that there is some group behind it, it gets a little bit more worried. But when you add the political machination to this, that's when it morphs from just being kind of like, oh, these guys are douchebags or dirty or something. It morphs to, these guys are political weapons of someone, and who could that be? Right? Don't even fucking attack me. They said it. They said all the shit about the lawyer. I didn't. Right? This is their own info. It's all out there. That's why you need to go watch JoelBot. That's why you need to go watch these guys that did this investigation. One of the best investigations I've ever seen on YouTube. They tripped them up to the point where they admitted all of it. They even admitted that they don't have to pay it. They don't have to pay a lawyer. That lawyer does it for free. No, it doesn't do it for free. Somebody's paying it. And that's what I worry about. I worry about a group of people that present themselves as independent investigators or independent journalists not being independent and everything being founded on a lie. It's one of the only times in YouTube, all of YouTube, you can go in and find people who have this kind of thing happen. Some information comes out about them. When you look at conspiracy communities or people that call themselves truthers or something, there are very, very few times when you have real evidence that there is a company behind a group of people. This is one of those rare times when you have all of the evidence admitted by the group themselves. And that, in my opinion, is very scary. So last thing I want to do before we move on, because I'm going to also tell you about this weird thing happening where so this YouTube channel, Patriot Soapbox, CrowdStrikes a Periscope channel because the Periscope channel was releasing information about a YouTuber with 300,000 subs, a different YouTuber, basically being investigated by the FBI and the IRS. And these guys didn't want that information out, and they instigated their following through a few videos to go CrowdStrike the Periscope. It's Adam Gingrich, someone I've went on his show and talked to them before. They were interested in what I found out about Q. They were really good people. They get political. They've lived their lives commentating on politics. They have a big reputation for it. A lot of people watch them and like what they say. So it's very strange that it's at this point where these guys come out to talk about something they've talked about a lot in the past. And because of the things going on right now, they go and CrowdStrike him down. And Roosevelt knows more about it than I do. I don't really have all the details here, but I'm just going to try to, get you guys caught up on it. Let's see here. There was another topic I wanted to hit too, but I think we may have hit all of them except for that one topic. I'll look around. Guys, if I forgot something that happened in the last couple days, please let me know. But let's get into all that. The last thing I want to do is hit the comments. I want to see how many people bought that story. That's what I want to see. I want to know how many people bought this, FBI, police chase, stakeout, secret symbol story. I want to know, is the YouTube community completely brain dead? Or are they waking the hell up here? Let's look. my God. Oh my God. You got to be kidding me. Look at this. So here's another piece of the pie. I wonder where it came from. Maybe one of you guys can help me find it or tell me how the hell this came out. 2 weeks ago, the Honeybee was set to do an interview with Victorious Libertas channel. Jim and Angie, the people that run the channel, had a major emergency situation, ironically, right when Honeybee was supposed to go on, where somebody slammed into Jim's truck. Now, if somebody slams into your truck, you typically know who did it. The night the interview was supposed to take place. Unfortunately, they had to cancel. The interview, as far as I know, had not been rescheduled since then. I follow their channel, and there's been a no-show with her on it as of yet. Maybe contact them to see if they've heard from her. She is definitely in a dangerous territory doing the stakeouts that you described. On another note, recently Brian from High Impact Flicks did a video about a Christian journalist that's been exposing high-level blank blank and was arrested and is being held without actually being charged. It's an illegal secret prison. He's in an illegal secret prison. He didn't... I'm sure it has nothing to do with maybe some other aspect of the law. He's being tortured in the secret prison. People know this about the secret prison. And held cruelly for untold hours upon hours in solitary confinement. Oh, solitary confinement. Solitary. It is imperative that as many truthers as possible talk about this and expose this. And some kind of organization's efforts to help this man. This could literally happen to anyone in the truther movement. We don't all stand for support this man. Who will be next? Yeah, who will be next? I mean, they call themselves truthers, so they can't lie. Here's a link to the story.
Hey guys, I'm going to do a little bit different video right now.
Oh, damn. It's the High Impact Flicks video. It's not the one I thought. Well, damn. So hold on a minute. We've got to rearrange like a normal viewer, a real viewer who believes everything these guys say, a real person, not a bot, not a sock account, now says that people are stopping the Honeybee with violent force, like ramming trucks into interviewers, so that she doesn't get interviewed about why she hasn't put out the documentary. My God, police chases, people ramming trucks into other vehicles. This is getting more nefarious by the second. I must, because they call themselves truthers, believe everything they say. I must not think about it with a critical mind. I better not ever try to actually ask myself the question of if they're lying to me or not. Because what kind of truther would I be if I did? I'm so glad I found that very helpful comment. Oh, there's a reply. Has anybody heard from the Liberty columnist? That's Anthony. Yes, the Liberty columnist. I couldn't think of his name. Oh. Also, reach out to Hagman. I think it was the Liberty Report, especially the ones who were making the documentary with her. She can be tracked down if everyone starts looking for her. Oh, wait a minute. Titus didn't put a heart on that one, but he put a heart on all the others, and it's been edited? Can you see the original edit? No. Well, gee golly. Why, thanks, Joel Bot. I clicked the wrong button. Let me click this button. Life can be so strange and full of lessons, and it only has 9 thumbs downs.
I'm ready.
You're not you.
Yeah, we're to take a trip, and so we're
fair use article in the about section.
Thinking about how we're going to logistically, strategically pack everything in the back of the truck, my truck.
Got a lot of stuff. 8 o'clock.
To my truck. I mean, it was
hard.
It was really loud. It sounded like it sounded like
wow.
so much damage.
Yes.
And like we were in shock. We were like, "What is going on?
I would be too.
What is going on?" And there was neighbors that were across, and they were in their balcony, and they were checking it out too.
I started to walk to the
Did they put this in the paper? Was this reported on the news? Did the police write a report?
Jeep, you know, thinking they're going to stop because they just rammed the truck really unemergency. Very young, crying, very young.
All that kind of stuff.
Hit and run.
Yeah, hit and run.
Oh, it was a hit and run. Wow, wow.
And so I get a knock on the door, and it's the neighbor from across the way with this
very young.
Very young. The neighbor brought the very young kid.
Crying.
Crying, young.
And she comes in and she says, "I'm the one that hit your
I think
truck."
I just backed into your truck.
Yeah,
backed in. I thought, wait a minute.
But she did, not think, but she, So anyway, I was like, oh my God.
Well, they shouldn't let these very young 12-year-olds drive.
I said,
10,
so why
8.
did you run? I mean, why did you take off?
Yeah, isn't she in jail right now for a hit and run? It's a very serious offense nowadays.
And she said, because I just got into a big argument with my boyfriend, and I was got
it. Makes sense. Also, reach out to Hagman and love the honeybee, who probably went deep for All Hollows, because I also lost touch with her then. Going to keep you protected, RW and the pups. We are doing okay here, still dealing with the weirdo. Keeping the faith. Give that a heart. There's no way Honeybee did a runner. She cares too much for the kids. I pray she's okay. Honeybee and Craig Sawyer might be shady. I donated to her in hopes of also purchasing her new DVD. Nothing happened. I always loved Honeybee and Craig. So if they are shady, then it's real shame. Very disappointing. I have hope, though, because they always seemed like stand-up guys and girls. I just want to know what's going on with these two. And you know what? I didn't even tell you what's going on with Craig. It's weird that these sock accounts keep bringing up these guys, because Anthony and VLTV attacked Craig Sawyer, which most people would say, oh, well, who cares? But when you think about it, they defended, what's that lady's name? So in the same interview, they defend the really creepy woman who likes to make web pages and tell you who shills are. The web page that they put me on for criticizing them, Fiona Barnett. So VLTV defends Titus, Fiona, and Honeybee, and then attacks Craig Sawyer and asks Anthony, I heard that Craig was a bad guy. And this is what's weird about Craig. I know some people say things about Craig, right? This team, Titus, LTV, VLTV, Honeybee, they like to say that Craig Sawyer is this really bad guy. But he's the only one that I can find that actually has arrested anyone, has any type of real training, actually spends money going around helping people, getting them counseling. There is evidence out there that he really does these things. Now, I find it extremely strange that like Fiona, Titus, LTV, they attack Craig all the time. You can just go look for it and find it. Why do they attack him with make-believe, unprovable things, and then they defend other people in their group with topics that have evidence that they are being shady? I hate to be that guy, but it does kind of seem like, Craig gets donations from a similar group of viewers. They get donations from a similar group of viewers. Craig has real evidence that he has actually helped people. That none of them have ever put out a single bit of evidence that they've ever helped a single person in this whole realm of the things they talk about. And yet, the people that have not done anything to help anyone are attacking the guy that has evidence of it. Could he be shady? Could he be bad? That's completely up to what you find. But if you follow the evidence that's out there, it almost seems like these guys are trying to implant seeds into the heads of the viewers to not trust Craig so that the donos keep going to them and they don't spend their money donating to another person in the same field. But I could be wrong. I could be completely crazy here. Liberty columnist last tweet was in early December, and these guys are known for tweeting like fucking crazy. Something isn't right. They were both so proud of the film. I give Alex Jones credit for exposing the drag queen library pedo and giving authorities to finally go after the parents of the Desmond the Amazing. He said he spent $500,000 to set up groups in all areas, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what she's talking about. Maybe this report will help us find out about our beloved B. Really weird. Another one of those seemingly sock accounts supporting them. Huh. And he hearted it. Really weird. Man, this is strange. Where is hashtag honeybee? I just hope she's safe. I left a comment on her last update vid this morning. I still have her Namble sign. Nothing from her Twitter either. No recent activity on Facebook. Very strange indeed. That seems like a real person. Her channel's gone. I can't find it anymore. Last time I checked, it was there. If she deleted her channel, let me know. Now, this guy's talking about old Pizza G stuff, the Wiener laptop. Maybe they did in secret. People were dying around PG also, and Hollywood connections. All the connections matter. Evidence doesn't. And this is just a normal type of thing to happen to a big group of people online. It's not worrisome whatsoever. I agree. I've been worrying about Honeybee too. Last I heard from her was defending false accusations put out there about her from Naomi. When you speak with her, please tell her she's missed. You look handsome in your business attire. That's important. Thanks for the encouraging reminder. We are winning. She seemed like a good girl, really cared for kids and adults. I hope she's okay. Saw her play guitar and sing. Nature always. Natural talent. Documentaries. Good ones can take years to make. I saw only one. They followed people for 12 years. Huh. Man. So do you think you think maybe that's where this is all leading? I don't know. She took the money and bounced. Ha 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 ha. Mindy Robinson, who you called all names under the sun in your last video, has part 3 coming out soon for your sloth friend Money B. Wow. Let's all pray for her because prayers work. B said she was banned from Twitter. Check out Kids Inc. website. Okay, we'll check it out. Thanks for telling us to. Man, you know, this truther community is really smart. They are a bunch of smart people. They are in no way sheeped out. They always think for themselves. Yeah, they do. They're really good. I'm really glad we can all have faith that these guys aren't just blindly following somebody. You know, it's just making sure. I can't find this damn website. What is it? kidsinc.com. Nope. kidsincorporated.org or .us. No. Kids Incorporated documentary. Huh. I can't find the website. I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. Let's go ahead and wrap this up and finish this subject. And like I said, if you want to pull clips from this video or re-upload it, I urge you to. Please do. If you do clip this, though, make sure you're not cutting out context of things I say, because I may ask you to take it down if you're not allowing the context to be there. Like if you try to clip me saying a certain thing and just it, you might get a strike. If you upload the video, if you upload parts, you make sure that the context is there, because I have been fair with these people. I've waited a long time to do this video. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. I'm being way too kind for all this crap. Really, I should be already doing a Crowdsourced Criminals, Red Pill to Pay the Bill episode, completely showing how it does seem like these guys spent the money and took off. So let me just sum this up. That's the best way to do it. Oh, that's what it is, Jeff. So, what it comes down to is, if I had done this, this group of people would be having a heyday criticizing the hell out of me, and that's why you should never listen to a word that any of them say. You should very much question everything they do, and you should never just give them the benefit of the doubt. Why? Because you can reach out to any of these people and tell them that you can debunk their conspiracies and that you're not being rude. You want them to know what the info is so they don't spread misinformation, and then they won't just ignore you. They will attack you. You are a threat to their wallet. Now, I know that's true for LTV, Titus, and a few others. What about Honeybee and what about Anthony? I'm not going to say Honeybee's that way yet, but I'll say Anthony is. For Anthony to get up on this screen and say that anyone that criticizes them he's tired of people criticizing him. He's allowed to do what he does. Everyone should pity him. He's the victim in this situation. He went broke. He had to pay a bunch of legal fees for stuff. And because he went broke, we should all expect it to take a long time for the documentary to come out. And he shouldn't have any responsibility at all towards getting anything out to people, even an hour-long thing. So where is the telling things about what Anthony said? He gives several different points of where they are in production. Like, he says that they've collected all the video, that they just have to edit it later on in the video. And I urge you to watch it and leave a thumbs down if you don't like it, and so we can track to see if they go up or down. Because these guys are good at manipulating their thumbs up and thumbs down, as I've proven. Freddie proved, and I took his proof and showed you. But he says that they're editing it, but then one of the most telling thing comes out of Anthony's mouth. Anthony, you should have never went on any show until you were ready to drop the documentary, because you are horrible at this shit. Anthony says they still haven't got people to sign the release of information yet. As you know, if you're going to do a documentary, you have to get people to sign a release of information. If you're going to make money off of it or get paid to make the documentary, if it's not just like a YouTube video, you got to have a release of information, a privacy note. And what you do is, when you go to interview everyone in your documentary, before you interview them, you sit down and have them sign the paper so that you can put out your damn documentary. He says in this that he's about to edit the video, and then says he still has to collect the papers. Why is he making so many different statements about the stage of edit and production? He's lying. He is. You don't contradict yourself this many times and not lie. And I think that the reason he's lying is because he doesn't think about the people that are listening or respect him at all. He seems like a young guy who is out partying, and he's going to flip out if he ever finds out I said that. I'm tired of people saying I'm out partying and blah, blah, blah. You are. You admitted it. I don't care that you party. Just don't get mad if people say it. You admitted it. I'm not putting you down for it. Enjoy your life, dude. But when you fuck up, don't get pissed at people. If you publicly run a money campaign, don't get pissed if you get criticized, for fuck's sake. I don't care if you do YouTube videos and take money and you get rich. I don't care what you do. But if you're going to run a campaign and you're going to bail on it, you're going to get exposed. Just like homeless GoFundMe, that actually has an update that I'll give you. And after I finish this, I'm almost done. So what's my last statement here? My last thing is, be very careful, because this could be a plot. Hey, if Titus can get conspiratorial on everything he says and tell huge lies about police chases and shit like that, I can get conspiratorial and tell you that it might be possible that VLTV and Anthony and Honeybee and them are doing this on purpose. These guys use very dastardly techniques to grow their channels. I've already explained it up to now. So, another thought process that I'm putting out to all of the people that watch my videos, is it possible that Victoris Libertas, Titus, Honeybee, and this Anthony guy sat down and came up with a plan to how to build hype for the documentary before they plan to release it? Like, maybe the reason Anthony's finally coming out and talking is because they are close to releasing the documentary. Now, that would go against everything Anthony said in this video. He says they're not even close. What would happen if the documentary releases in a day, a week, or a month, or 2 months? We will know that he's lying. That this thing about Honeybee chasing down high-speed chases and all that was Titus building hype. He wants you to criticize him. He probably wants me to criticize him. That's why his story is so crazy. If they get up there and start lying about the documentary, then other channels that actually want to put out the truth or put out reality are going to criticize him. More people are going to hear about the document. It's free advertising for us to be exposing this. That's one of the reasons why I chose not to do many videos on this in the last 9 months. Now, too many people have been messaging me ever since Honeybee disappeared and Anthony did this interview, so now I'm forced to talk about it. But it's highly possible that they want me to talk about it because maybe some of you will go give them some clicks when they put it out. Maybe some of you will put out will help go around and tell your friends, hey, they put the documentary out. Make sure you watch it. Tell me what you think. Let's criticize them. Let's yell at them. They'd probably get more views from the people who are pissed about the way they've handled this than they're going to get from the people that paid for the documentary because of the amount of time that went by. It's just a possibility. Why do we not know is the question we all should ask. Why are we getting lies from Titus? Why are we getting lies from Victoris Libertas? The first thing they would have done was take a snapshot of that car and put it out. The first thing they would have done is not tie it to Honeybee's documentary. All of these lies coming out right now from only the people inside of this network makes me think that they are doing a reverse psychology kind of fucking advertising campaign. Get people like UNIRock and OG and other people out there to give shit to these guys for lying. Their audience is too sheeped out to call them out on their lies, so they're not going to lose their audience. UNIRock and them will criticize us, which will get more eyes on the documentary, and we get more views in the long run. We get more hype, and we are more successful because of the lies we told before it released. It is possible, although it's unlikely. Why? Because they are obligated to the people that donated to put out the documentary. So in my opinion, if they did that, we would, of course, show how they lied and manipulated people to create hype for the documentary, and it would look bad for them in the long run. So it's not as likely that that may happen. It's just a possibility. And like I said, the shittiest thing about it, if these guys were truthers, if they were truthful, if they weren't liars, they wouldn't want the community worrying about it. They wouldn't want their donators going around and asking people like me and OG and other people to comment on this, right? They wouldn't have to comment. They wouldn't have to ask us to comment on it because they would, already have the info straight from these guys. I don't buy it for a fucking second. If they were the type of people that made complex YouTube videos and it took weeks for them to put a video together, you know what? Fine. I'll say, you know what? Honeybee doesn't want to do a video. Anthony doesn't want to do a video because they do complex, good videos, and it'll take them a long time to do a complex, good video. And, maybe, but they're the type of people that hit play on a fucking camera like I'm doing right now and just sit there and talk. So for them not to hit play on a camera when they've been doing it for years is the most telling part of this whole thing. And in the end, I give them about 6 months or a year, there'll be another campaign and more people criticizing them, and they won't care because as long as their core group of donators continue to do it, they're going to continue to lie and cheat and make money off of child abuse. And it's just a sick truth of our world that people do this. Next up. Okay. Next thing I want to tell you about, let's go ahead and close this out. Let me get that off the screen. Oh, this is a quick one. You remember one of my crowdsourced criminals from months ago was about a couple who said that they ran out of gas on the highway. And this homeless guy came up and took $20 out of his pocket, walked to a gas station, got them gas, walked it back, and filled up the gas tank so that that woman wouldn't have to be broken down in a bad part of town. And they started a GoFundMe campaign for this guy and took in $500,000 or $800,000 or whatever. And then we started to find out that this guy wanted his money, but they wouldn't give it to him. They were buying BMWs. They were publishing pictures of them in the Bahamas on their social media, and they don't have jobs that they can afford BMWs or trips to the Bahamas. Well, they've finally been charged. Let's go ahead and tell you what happened, and hopefully I can get a crowdsourced criminal campaign, including the documentary and including this, edited in a good short video so that you can watch it and not have to watch a long live stream. And I'm sorry about the long live stream. I try to do them on UNIRock Archive now and then take the edited stuff over here so that you guys can not have to have big chunks of your day devoted to the long streams unless you want to. I know these long streams clutter up my video lists. That's why I'm trying to take some of the longer prep streams or after streams to the UNIRock Archive and give you more content here on UNIRock too. A feel-good story that grabbed national attention when a Jersey couple raised more than $400,000 to help a homeless Good Samaritan was built on greed and deception, much like the careers of the YouTubers we just talked about. All three were in on the scam, prosecutors said Thursday. Wait, is this the newest thing? Let's find the newest one really quick. I want the newest one. Homeless GoFundMe charged. January 10th. Let's do this. Let's do tools in the last month just to see. Yeah, here's March. They pled guilty. Got it. Here we go. Here's the new update. They raked in more than $400K from unsuspecting donors. Johnny Bobbitt, who was supposed to be the beneficiary of the donations, pled guilty in Camden, New Jersey to one count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. Wow. This is a real conspiracy that those conspiracy guys could report on. Huh. They don't get as many views or donations if there's not abused kids involved, though. New Jersey to one count of conspiracy to commit money laundering. Kate McClure pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, for God's sakes. Bobbitt faces 10 years. McClure faces up to 20 years. 20! In November, McClure and her boyfriend, Mark D'Amico, created a GoFundMe. The homeless man at the time gave the last 20 to them, stranded on a freeway. Prosecutors said McClure and D'Amico concocted a tale, and that when the donations had reached about $1,500, they told Bobbitt about the campaign and the false gas story. A month later, in December, after setting up a bank account for Bobbitt, the pair deposited $25K from the scheme into his account. $400K was raised by 14,000 donators. That's more than 20 or 30? $30 per person, by the way. More than 30 per person. Much like other crowdsourced criminals we've heard of lately. Okay, I'll stop that. In less than 3 weeks. But what was portrayed as a heartwarming tale unraveled as the public feuded over the money. Bobbitt filed a lawsuit accusing the couple of withholding most of the GoFundMe money he was owed, which led authorities to investigate the case. In November of 18, prosecutors released more than 60,000 messages between McClure and D'Amico from their phones detailing their financial woes and how they allegedly got Bobbitt in on the ruse. The couple is accused of spending money on a BMW, gambling, and luxury goods, and vacations to Florida and Las Vegas, amongst other things. This wasn't their money. Why isn't this their money? Because the people donated to give this homeless man a home and a car and stuff like that. Just like with the last story, people donated to get a documentary. It's not your money until you provide the service that you promised. All three still face charges of second-degree theft by deception and conspiracy to commit theft by deception in a case brought by Burlington County prosecutors. In December, the GoFundMe announced that it had been given refund to every donor who contributed. Bobbitt is currently held at the Burlington County Jail, and here is a quick sum up.
Online fundraising website GoFundMe says it has issued refunds to everyone who contributed to that campaign involving a homeless veteran in Philadelphia. Donors sent in about $400,000 after the story of Johnny Bobbitt went viral. He supposedly gave a New Jersey woman his last $20 when she ran out of gas. But prosecutors say Bobbitt, the woman, and her boyfriend actually made up the tale as a get-rich-quick scheme. All three have been charged with second-degree theft.
Whoa! Who the hell was that dude? You see that dude?
The subpoenas nearly.
Oh my God, I hate you, NBC. They try to shove as many videos down your fucking throat as they can when you go to these websites so that they can make ad clicks. They are horrible. Almost as bad as people that do GoFundMe campaigns like this and then don't deliver the goods they promised. I'm horrible. I'm such a horrible guy. Who is that guy? Now, wait a minute. Isn't that girl married to the dude in the middle? Yeah, that's the dude in the middle, and her were the ones that helped the homeless guy. That dude's withdrawn from some drugs, boy. Look at that face. Let me get my ugly ass out of the way. Help me. Get me out of here. I just wanted some money. I need my crack. Help me. I need my crack. I know, Bizzy. I am pretending to be you. That's my you voice. You smoke too much crack, Bizzy. Bizzy, you're always... The other day, you were trying to stab fake... Those leprechauns were not real, Bizzy. They were not real. They only looked real because you were hallucinating. If you put the crack pipe down. Oh, my God. If you weren't tuned in on the UNIRock archive, Bizzy jumped out of the skyscraper window and literally fell like 200 stories, but luckily he's made out of bread and I just had to straighten his legs out. And then at the end of the show, after I straightened his legs out, he freaking grabbed a knife and said that leprechauns jumped off of a cereal box and he was trying to stab them because they were evil. And I'm like, Bizzy, dude, there's no leprechauns. And then he thought I was a leprechaun. I ended the stream and he chased me around the fucking studio for like 10 minutes till I knocked the knife out of his hand, tied him up, and he fell asleep. He wakes up, and what do you think he does like 10 minutes later? Starts smoking crack again. You guys, we need to have an intervention for Bizzy. He needs a Bizzy-vention. You do too, Biz. It's because I love you. I love you, Bizzy. Bizzy! I can't do the show without you. You're too inebriated every night. Go back on the... Please start drinking alcohol again. Please. I preferred it over the crack. You do both? Well, that explains it. Next up. All right, now this story gets even funkier. You know what? What am I doing right now, Bizzy? If you weren't on crack and liquor at the same time, whiskey. Whiskey's liquor, Biz. Don't be so specific. If you weren't, you would have reminded me that we're starting a It's too early. Bizzy, will you please play the sound effect? I can't hold off for much longer. Hurry up, bro. This is a UNINews. The only news show on YouTube held together with duct tape and crowns. That's right. Duct tape, crowns, and an assistant that's on crack only on UNINews, your top trusted news source. Thanks for the pew-pews, Biz. No. Bizzy, I don't want to hear it. There is not any freaking bunny rabbits running across the floor. I'm not starting this again tonight. I don't have time. We got a show to do. Now it's bunny rabbits, huh? Okay. So, back to reality. This is a strange story, and I want to give it to you really fast. Other YouTubers, though, can give you a better sum up than I can. Tipster and other people. Turns out a popular live streamer was raided by the FBI recently, and he didn't get the fact that he was running a Ponzi scheme or a pyramid scheme. See, if you take in money from other people for a business venture, you can't take that money and then invest it in another business venture and another business venture, or that is called a pyramid scheme. So this popular live streamer named Ice Poseidon gives the community an update because he must flee California. I like Ice Poseidon. I'm not trying to shit on the guy. It's just a really crazy story. It happened on YouTube. It fits all the designations to be in a Uni News episode. Listen to what he has to say.
As to what's going on right now and why I haven't streamed in a while. Well, I'm here to give you a rundown of everything and the future plans and exactly what we're going to be doing and what's going to be happening here. What it do? What it do? Well, to start off with everything, I've streamed in the past week now because I need a fucking filming permit from the city of Los Angeles in order to stream, even inside of my fucking house, which is bullshit. They are totally, I mean, it's not really that bullshit, I guess, but it's just annoying, and
You got to have a building permit to stream nowadays? Holy shit, brah. Huh. That's weird. Here in New York City, we don't have to have a building permit to stream.
Filming permit takes, a week to get. So that's really frustrating, and, we're in the process of doing that.
In Ohio.
What we're going to do in the meantime is, within the next few days, after we get a little bit more information, we're going to be traveling to Oklahoma, and we're going to pick up the military truck and bring it back here. And that's going to be a good old week and a half of, fucking, and, trying to stream the fucking FBI raid and all this stupid, annoying shit. So we're
I'm trying to stream the FBI raids. It's really annoying, I'm sure.
The amount of people that have been, standing outside my house, live streaming and just being fucking annoying with, their streams and, trying to stream the fucking FBI raid and all this stupid, annoying shit. So we're probably going to move out of LA in about 2 months. I don't know. We're gonna stay at this.
Anyway, I'm not doing this to show you the story. I just want to make you aware of the story because I feel like it's going to be talked about a lot in the coming months. And it's good to get in on a really good story like this in the beginning. What the hell did ICE do to deserve the FBI to raid? What did the FBI find? Are they going to charge him? What's going on? How could this happen? Why do you have to have a building permit to live? All these things are great questions to make this story worthy of entertainment. Pretty crazy, right? Let's get to the last story. No, not that song, Biz. That one. Thank you. Yeah, Todd, you're right. No, very good point. The stairwell does lend credibility to any story. That they should. The guys from the other story should have had a stairwell. It would have helped.
Where is your God now?
All right. Let's get this stream finished up. Yeah, that's you, Bizzy. You look kind of cute. You're very cute, Biz. I'll give that to you. You're very cute. Oh, that makes sense. Joe Boss says in California, there are strict laws on filming to protect celebrities. And he's a celebrity. Ice Poseidon is a celebrity, so he should be protected too, I guess. So let's hear what Roosevelt has to say. I'm interested. I want to know what's going on with this story. And Roosevelt did a video. I don't know how informative it'll be. I know that Roosevelt's going to do a great job, but I mean the actual content of the story. You know, Roosevelt's going to do a great job reporting it. I just don't know what we'll see from this, but I'll try to catch you up. I haven't watched it yet. Okay, so March 25th, they discussed a Q post casting suspicion on Sebastian Gorka and the MAGA Coalition. Keep in mind, MAGA Coalition recently exposed Praying Medic for possible IRS violations. So Roosevelt's trying to say that once people speak out against Medic, all of his little multi-channel buddies try to stand up to defend him to protect their money train. Now, this is bad for the Q guys because the Q guys are founded on the MAGA Coalition. I don't like politics. I'm not going to get into politics, but follow me here. Make America Great Again Coalition and several other MAGA groups split apart. One of them happened to be Ann Vandersteel and Bill Mitchell. They used to run this coalition. Now, some of the people that were working for them realized that they were doing dirty business practices and left them. I'm just telling you what their claim is. I'm not telling you a judgment, okay? You need to make your own mind up. But anyway, so we are left then with the thought process. You know, are they just defending Medic? And by them attacking MAGA, the Q guys, doesn't that mean that they aren't part of MAGA anymore? Now, I have tried to warn the entire world, anyone out there that's part of the MAGA thing, the Trump thing, or any of that these Q guys, like the Patriots Soapbox, like the CBTS Stream, like Praying Medic, like Dustin Nemos, like Marfugel, are not preppers. They're not MAGA. They're not conservatives. Most of them were atheists up until they became Christian 2 days before they started YouTube channels. The other half of them were Satanists, occultists. Now, you're going to say, but you're just trying to make fun of them and put them down and say mean things, UNIRock. No, there is actual real hard evidence that their social media profiles were 50% atheist and 50% Satanist. You could say not a single one of them were Christian, but all of them became Christian when they started this. So my point was not to hate on them because they're atheists. I was an atheist up until 8 or 10 years ago or whenever I stopped. But once I realized some things, I myself hang out with many atheists. I respect other people's choice of religion. I don't like when somebody converts a religion just to make money off of people that believe a religion. Think about it like this. If you're an atheist and you see how much money people make off of being preachers or off of giving religious advice, you know, is there anything to stop you, Medic, from pretending to be a Christian preacher, starting a 501c, and collecting donations while giving bad advice on the religion that you claim to be a part of 2 days before you started your YouTube presence? So anyway, all of this has come to a head in the last few days, and like I showed you at the beginning of this video, and I know I've been live for a while, so a lot of you guys probably didn't hear it earlier. Many people have left. Many other people have came into the stream, so I'll go ahead and update you with the Q people admittedly attacked Adam Gingrich of the MAGA Coalition and crowdstruck him. I've been trying to tell you that the Q guys are not for free speech. They are not for constitutional rights. Most of you already know this because one of the biggest tenets of Q is to arrest certain Democrats and not give them the benefit of a trial. They literally don't care about the Constitution or due process. They want their trials to go. They want a military tribunal and to lock them up forever in Gitmo. And a lot of them say a lot worse than just locking them up forever in Gitmo. They want other things to happen a lot worse than that.
I came down here when Mr. Pam was still on. I saw that this MAGA coalition thing had been, the Q had posted about that. And so I tried to start looking into this. And the name that I was able to come up with was somebody named Ginger McQueen.
Ooh, well, Radix, it couldn't be that Ginger and the MAGA guys have criticized you, Pamphlet, and I went on Ginger's show, with Adam's show, with New York City Guns' show, right? I went on their show and I talked to them for hours. I had a great time talking to those guys. I don't get political, but they were just really awesome people. They're really fun to talk to. They are very good at doing a podcast, and it was nice talking to other people that were good at, following a train of thought, adding things in, keeping the conversation going, keeping it fresh, We had great streams. I'd love to I want to stream with them again. I'd love love to do it. It'd be so fucking awesome. I'm going to have to try to get a hold of them. If you guys are watching, Ginger, you guys hit me up. Let's stream this week or weekend. I want to know what's going on. But I do know this. Those guys have been criticizers of Patriot Soapbox and the people on my screen. And it just seems really weird that out of nowhere, they start hurting their sheeped out followers to go attack these guys and trying to frame them as bad guys. Now, yes, when I put out my investigation, I went on many shows. I talked to many news agencies, you recall, when I exposed Q as this group. The people that put out the posts are the people that started this channel. The Q posts. That whole shitty conspiracy. This is them, along with a couple other YouTubers. Now, many people had me on their shows to talk, and I went to their show, told them my investigation, how I found everything I found, the other people that helped me, what we did. And I do think that Ginger and Adam and them understand that even though they know how there's another group that was helping these guys, guess who it was? The same people I named a few minutes ago, Ann Vandersteel and Bill Mitchell. Those guys, with the help of the Soapbox and the CBTS group, started this conspiracy, helped fan the flames of it. They all had different parts to play, different roles to help it get out there, and that's how this thing went viral. Adam and them tracked those guys very good and have great evidence to show that they were also involved. I gave them the evidence that these guys were helping them and also involved. And then if you recall, if you don't remember who Ann Vandersteel is, remember when Tracy Beans tried to have a website where you paid $60 and got to see secret government drops that came from this guy that she met, right? And she just found this website, and it was so awesome that she bumped into this website so that she can give her following the link to go spend $60 to get all these secret information drops every month. It's almost like Tracy's own Q. It's almost like the Q thing got out of Bill Mitchell and Ann Vandersteel's hands because Pamphlets didn't only stab Baruch in the back, but stabbed everyone else in the back, and because he wanted to make all the money. And it's almost like Vandersteel and Mitchell decided, let's get Beans, who helped us do this in the first place, and let's get this website put together so we can start making money off of a secret government leaker. Well, that worked for them for a couple days until I put out a picture of Tracy Beans not stumbling upon the website, but driving to Washington, D.C., meeting in a very expensive hotel with the guy that made the website, Ann Vandersteel, Bill Mitchell, and several other people just weeks before they all started to discover this secret website. And I busted them for basically trying to start Q 2.0, but it was just some tall guy. I forget who it was. Anyway, that's a little bit of a backstory going into this. Ginger and them were instrumental in letting the Periscope audience, all the people that watch, and there are millions of people that watch the Periscope streams. They were instrumental in letting everybody know. Adam, Ginger, New York City Guns on Twitter. You can find all these guys on my Twitter. If you'll see, I retweet them and stuff, and try to show you guys what's going on my, at UNIRockTv on Twitter if you want to follow them, if you want to see what they do. But I want to know what these guys are saying about Ginger because, you know, it would almost be like retaliation if these guys started to talk about them on their horrible, toxic live show.
But I didn't really, and then I had to just come on here. I didn't have too much time to really look at it. But let's just zoom in a little bit more here so we can read this better. Okay, we've got Countable Data Brief. ThreatKnowledge.org is tracked by us since January 2016. All this time, it was owned by Catherine Gorka of Threat Knowledge Group LLC, hosted by GoDaddy.com LLC. We found that it is poorly socialized and respect any social network. No, Bobo! Sorry. He put his paws on the keyboard. Come on. You're going to have to go in the closet, mister. Okay, so we've got the vendor recipient of Threat Knowledge Group, and this is one of the customers here, apparently. Total reported payments 2018 cycle $60,000. Wow, that's a lot of money. 3 payments made.
Wait a minute. They couldn't be vaguely trying to represent that Ginger McQueen and them are getting paid or paying someone or something like that. That's not what they're trying to do here, is it? They're not trying to frame them as government shills, are they?
Made first payment in September of 2017. Last payment.
Wait. That's Bill Mitchell, and Ann Vandersteel was in charge of things back then. That has nothing to do with Ginger McQueen and Adam and the people that you named right before you started to try to convince your audience that it was them.
Made in November of 2017.
Got it, Jobot.
Very interesting. McLean, Virginia. And who is Catherine Gorka? Is that Sebastian Gorka's wife?
I don't. Yeah, that actually still looks
interesting.
Better than
Interesting.
yeah, I know because I'm
so
not actually.
Another 60K recipient from MAGA Coalition, and
Fake
it seems like they're a bunch of fake MAGAs, right?
Yet for PAC fraud.
Right. You know, she sounds like Adam Schiff, doesn't she? It's the same thing. It's like, well.
So this is the MAGA Coalition guys that the soapbox is trying to frame up in their little video.
We're going on year 2. We're still waiting to be arrested for the fraud committed in the fiscal year 2018. It's like, all right, we're waiting too. I'm waiting patiently. What was the first rumors of our death, which were greatly or at least slightly exaggerated?
Slightly exaggerated.
Yeah, I mean, we were told that the FBI, we were done, I believe, around the time Brendan Dilley's campaign was going on.
Website gone. However,
yeah, those guys are really funny too if you ever want to watch them.
Look who it was.
Drop their link again for me, Joel, throughout.
Owned by, and notice the headquarters city, McLean, Virginia, and of course involves.
Can you actually tell us what this means and why this is significant? Please, Radix, please. Can you hook us up, please? Because, you know, Adam is not Adam, but New York City Guns is a millionaire, and God knows if he doesn't pay people for security, pay people for other things. What are you trying to say here, Patriot Soapbox?
Counterterrorism, which is supposedly Gorka's big thing, right?
Mr.
Well, if you guys are lying and targeting certain political groups with false information, wouldn't that make the soapbox kind of like a little bit of a maybe I shouldn't use the word terrorist, but at least a fraudulent group?
Gorka's not going to like the next one, too.
Hannah says, the soapbox is trying to dox Seb Gorka. Drop me more. Tell me what else these guys are trying to do here. Drop it in the chat. Adam and Ginger are good for the USA. The Gappy Twunt is not for the USA. Yeah, let me know what else these guys have said about them. Like, I know they're sending people to CrowdStrike the MAGA Coalition, which you don't do if you're for free speech there, Radix and Q guys, Pamphlet. You don't go remember when those guys CrowdStruck me every 2 freaking days when I was exposing them? It got to the point where I had to message YouTube and send them all the threats and all the 8chan and 4chan posts they were putting out and the Reddit posts. Hey, everybody, go CrowdStrike UNIRock. You know, he's trying to expose us. I was just sending that shit to YouTube so that YouTube wouldn't take me down, and they knew these guys were false striking me. They are doxing Seb Gorka. Yeah, and we got Shia LaBeouf's brother here. Let's see what he has.
Video. Oh, that makes me smile. Doobie doobie doo. All right. Come on. Come on. I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Hannah says, I don't know what's going on. I'm watching you not. Oh, I understand. I know. I'm just saying if someone does. This happened earlier today. So Doug Stewart and JB have all the stuff on this today. Okay, let's see if we can find it. Doug Stewart on Twitter. because I'm following him. Let's see what he said. Let's get the lowdown really quick before I go offline. Let's see what Doug's put out today, because Doug would keep us updated on this. Turns out Vincent Fusca isn't Vincent Fusca. It also turns out that Q folks are terrible at research and let the Green Party progressives infiltrate the MAGA coalition. Oh, really? We already knew that. Join Ginger, Glenn, and Adam on MAGA Coalition YouTube channel, where they shall embrace the Q banner of outed enemies. I wonder what it took Emperor of Truth and his obsessions with PG over 2 years and 2 months to report a crime against kids to the police. His pal, Rye, can't even claim to have done that much yet. Blah, 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 blah. The initial news about the killing of the Gambino mob boss was that it was a dispute over a relative, but the killer's lawyer said today it was because of his obsession with Q. The LARP will be busted wide open, cracked like an egg, and Ginger will be there laughing. All right, let me make sure I don't show anything I don't need to show really quick, because there's some dude dressed up like an angel wearing a diaper, and I don't want to show it to you. All right, let's see here. What else do they got? What are the other dirty things they're trying to do here? Oh, Titus called out Ginger and Mindy regard to being fakes and Zionists, Michelle said. Ginger McQueen? You're telling me that I'm glad he did, because Titus does that to anyone that criticizes him. So the more people that are definitely not Zionists that he calls a Zionist takes more and more credibility away from him. Excellent. Ooh, Praying Medic just declared war on Seb Gorka. Who the fuck is Seb Gorka? Sebastian Gorka, blah, 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 blah. I don't even know who he is. All right. Q posted other links related to the MAGA coalition. So the MAGA coalition exposes Q. The MAGA coalition exposes Praying Medic for having IRS investigation against him and a federal investigation against him for taking donations under a religious group tax-free, while those donations being from his political Q mess, and he gets in a lot of trouble. Medic does. And they expose him for it. So then Medic, ironically, you're telling me that Q just decides to expose the MAGA coalition? Thank you, Anons, for bringing this to our attention. Be careful who you follow. Follow the money. Follow the expenses of the MAGA coalition. Open Secrets, The Daily Beast, Sebastian Gorka, Twitter.com, Draw and Strike, IRS.gov, individuals, how do you report suspected tax fraud activity, and the FBI tips. They couldn't be telling the Q followers. Q himself could not be instructing. Oh my God. You kidding me? Medic, are you this crazy? Medic, we know that you help Pamphlet put out the Q posts. We're not stupid. We exposed you for it a year ago. And you've got the nerve to tell your following fanatics to go report the MAGA coalition, Open Secrets, PAC's expenditures, Daily Beast, Sebastian Gorka, and this Twitter guy to the IRS and the FBI. So you don't have any qualms with wasting the FBI's time, wasting the IRS's time. You're mad that you got reported and you're in trouble with the IRS and the FBI. So now you're trying to get the people that exposed you in trouble with the FBI and the IRS. You know what's weird? I don't think that New York City Guns didn't pay his taxes. I don't think New York City Guns illegally took a 501c and took donations in. He has money. He has a tax guy. He wouldn't want to do that. He likes paying his taxes. I don't think he's got anything to worry about there, no matter how many reports you file. But what this will end up doing is taking somebody with no evidence of wrongdoing and having them waste their resources investigating them, while we've got thanks to the MAGA coalition, an enormous amount of evidence that Praying Medic is being investigated by these agencies. Really? Huh. You know, I don't think that these guys are for free speech. I just don't think that Q is for the Constitution or for free speech. They like taking their enemies and saying, if you try to challenge us, we're going to do this to you. If you try to challenge us, we're going to try to get you investigated. You know, that just seems a little bit dirty. You know, just a little dirty. Oh, now you're providing links to the MAGA Coalition website, and due to high server demand, the website's currently unavailable. It couldn't be because you sent your group of anti-American anons to go over and try to take down the website through DDoS attacks and through flooding the website with server requests. Couldn't be because of you guys, could it? Open Secrets financial information on MAGA Coalition. Yeah, let's see here. Campaign strategy and communications consulting, polling and surveys, unclassified event expenses. Why is this bad? Like, this is just them putting out their, this is them putting out their expenses. It's not secret information, is it? Like, somebody tell me how any of this is illegal or bad, right? That they pay for things to do with their coalition. How is that bad? How is that wrong? JoelBot5 says this definitely points to Brendan Dilley getting pamphlet to help with a revenge campaign. Exactly. Let's look at Praying Medic's record, says Bill I. He doesn't put them out publicly like Adam does and like the coalition does. My name is Medic Shady. After a brief stunt with the MAGA coalition, Q hater Gorka is headed for greener pastures. Seb Gorka joins pro-Trump group founded by Pizzagate truthers. A controversial former White House aide has a new gig with an anti-globalist coalition. Just happens to be launched by right-wing. Well, let's see what they're saying. Wait a minute, Medic. I thought you said that the Daily Beast is fake news. I thought that you said the Daily Beast attacks Q and is fake news and can't be trusted. So if they say anything bad here, we can't trust it, right, Medic? Right? Seb Gorka may have left the White House, but he's still working for a conspiracy theorist. The former White House advisor, wait, now hold on. Hey, Medic, you can't be trying to wield the word conspiracy theory as a weapon against somebody you don't like. After all the complaining you've done about people wielding the word as conspiracy theory as a weapon towards you, you couldn't be being the most massive hypocrite that you could ever be in this situation. Could you, Praying Medic? The controversial former White House advisor is officially signed on with a new pro-Trump super PAC founded and run by people who have promoted conspiracy theories about the 2016 DNC staffer Rich and outlandish falsehoods regarding Democratic ring known as the right-wing fever swamp PG. In joining the group dubbed the MAGA Coalition, Gorka has dramatically elevated his profile, but that hasn't led to the members stop dabbling in urban myths and legends. Reach for comment, a spokesperson for the MAGA Coalition defended its leaders' efforts to raise questions about both trafficking and DC pizza shops in a murder they deem mysterious as they insist the results of a botched robbery. The MAGA Coalition was created to promote Trump agenda and compete against global operated interests. So is this MAGA Coalition, okay, they're talking about Gingrich, they're talking about Gorka. Axios reported on Tuesday, not long after his unceremonious ouster from the White House last month. Gingrich and others associated with the MAGA coalition have small followings in corners of the right-wing media universe and have used their online platforms to promote conspiracy theories about Rich's murder last year to become a rallying cry for some pro-Trump media voices convinced that he's responsible for the release of hacked emails from the DNC. And as a result, Clinton presidential campaign played a role in his death. The DC police has constantly dismissed these claims. Rich's grieving family has begged it to be left alone. If Seth Rich was African American, the DC police would get away with hiding the body cam and other footage, Gingrich wrote on Twitter. In another tweet last year, Gingrich amplified WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange to suggest that Rich was group's source of hacked emails. Who murdered Rich? Gingrich asked, adding the hashtag Paranoid Hillary. After the Daily Beast contacted him for comment, Gingrich made his Twitter account private. A screen grab of his tweets can be seen below. Oh, they're talking about August of 2016. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'd like to see some recent stuff because Adam said some different things when I talked to him there. But Hannah Bean said, did you see Dilly and Medic ate dinner last night? They posted a pic on Dilly Twitter. Yeah. Did you see that picture of Praying Medic also eating with or taking a picture with Ann Vandersteel and Bill Mitchell? Right? And if you're inclined to report suspected criminal activity, Q posted a link to the FBI tip page. Okay, you still haven't told us what is criminal about the picture that you shared, and neither did the soapbox. You want to show them paying people. Okay, where is the crime, right? I mean, they can't pay Adam Gingrich to speak for them? That's some kind of crime? At least they pay people, unlike the soapbox doesn't pay any of its speakers. Right, Medic? What? Like, fine, you want to say they're committing a crime, prove it. Before you report it, you've got to tell us what the crime is. They are now using Q. Like, Q is so fucking dead now that they're using this shit to try and attack people that criticize them. Dilly and Medic ate dinner last night. Here's a picture. Trust the plan like you trust God. Last I checked, the God book said, cursed is the man that trusts in man and makes his flesh. Yeah, you're very, very true on that one. Fuck. I got to open it in an incognito window because Medic blocked me. The fuck? No, what the hell is this? Copy link address. Got it. Ooh, Mr. Medic. Randy Savage. It's so funny, dude. My God. Radix is also the name for a covert intel program. Somebody mentioned it here once. Oh, yeah, I showed that. Yeah, I accept super chats and PayPal donos, guys, if you like my show. I am broke as a freaking hooker, though, so it would help. It's only because I haven't been going live lately, so I haven't been getting any donos. So I can't, it's not like I can bitch about it. It's my own fault. Okay, so let's see how he propagandizes this. There has been a two-tiered justice system in place that allows society's elites to evade justice. A major theme of Q's mission is the return of equal blind justice for all. Really? Is that why you push for, no trials, no due process? A review of leading anti-Trump Twitter accounts reveals a familiar pattern of talking heads using the same 4 a.m. talking points issued by their deep state masters. I thought you guys had the 4 a.m. talking points inclined into your Q thing. What is going on here, mister? William Barr isn't objective because he was handpicked by... It doesn't even make sense. I don't even give a shit. Link to a graphic. Oh, wait. You're not linking to quantum packets at keybase.pub, are you? Medic. Medic, you're not quantum packets, are you? Medic. You're not him, are you? It's... Like, I wasn't right, was I, about you working with Pamphlet and Dilly and Vandersteel and all these guys to create Q like you did with Pizzagate on 4chan so that you could try to start another conspiracy theory to make money off of, right? I can't believe YouTube still lets him and Sather and these guys do this. With all the evidence out there that they are just running a political fucking psyop, why is YouTube still allowing this to happen when they're willing to delete people for literally just talking about fucking some other conspiracy? It's insane. This is not even a conspiracy. There's evidence for it. It's nutty. They were plotting last night, and then Q posts about their enemies the next day. It's not a coincidence, says Joelbot. Exactly, bro. You know, I hate to say it. I told you so, everyone who gave me shit. I told you so. I told you that these guys are Q. A government leaker doesn't give two fucks about the drama going on with a YouTuber who talks about the Q drops. The actual government leaker doesn't give two fucks about that shit. He's up there worried about leaking the government intel. I told you that these guys either took over the Q account or had been in control the whole time. I said it. Praying Medic, Nemos, Pamphlet, and the CBTS crew, including Radix, including all the other guys up there. They inducted Marfugel into it. That's why Marfugel had to start talking about it. That's why he started talking about it in a positive way and allowing those guys to come on his show. That's how they work. They use these YouTubers. They pay them. And I even have Marfugel admitting to taking $3,000 from Nemos so that he could come on his show, bash his enemies, do all that other shit. I have systematically showed this to everybody the entire time, and there's no question now. Government leakers next to Trump are not so fucking bored that they can sit and pay attention to Praying Medic's drama or the Soapbox's drama. It's just not logical. If like the people that follow this are so brainwashed, man. They are so eternally brainwashed. And without those brainwashed people, these guys have nothing. It's sickening. It's sickening. Why is it a coincidence that Barf Google started making conspiracy theories after he teamed up with these guys? No, they gave him the playbook. They taught him how to do it. Hey, all you got to do, Barf, is make up some conspiracies, and we'll help you make them go viral. And all you got to do is favorably interview us and help spread our baseless conspiracy theory, and we'll do it for you. Is it any coincidence that instantly after he does it, he gains subs? No. And this is how these guys manipulate YouTube so that years from now, they can sit there, you know, with this big empty subscriber base that they built and do what they do. It's ridiculous. But what is more fucked up than everything I just said? What is the most fucked up thing? What is the thing that all of this has in common? It's that they all go around telling you that they're truthful, that they are patriots, that they want constitutional, they want the Constitution withheld. But everything they do spits on it. Everything they do is about taking rights away from others so that they can gain more money. They are such fucking like the evil kind of capitalists, but their entire conspiracy is about how they're exposing evil capitalists. It makes no sense. It's founded on bullshit. And what else does this all have in common? These conspiracies are all political. From PG, that gave the Honeybee and Anthony and Titus their power in the beginning, all the way up to Q, which is PG 2.0. And this is another way. The reason why, whether you like looking at flat earthers that misuse conspiracy theory to make money, whether you like looking at other topics that people misuse to make money on YouTube, this is just another conspiracy theory that people misuse and lie about to make money on YouTube. It's so obvious now that I don't even have to I don't even have to worry about it. They've exposed themselves. This shit happening with Medic and them is massively important to expose them. It completely debunks their entire conspiracy, but they're so desperate now that the IRS is coming after them and the FBI is. I've been telling you the FBI is investigating these guys, and if you think the New Zealand thing didn't also make the FBI turn their investigation up from a 1 to a 10, it did. The dude went to 8chan and told everybody what he was about to do. And do you think the people on 8chan said no or stop? They said the opposite. And now they've cut 8chan off from the UK and New Zealand. And they're also, now the heat is down on these guys. And they are trying their best. Now that's why you see them together again, right? You haven't seen Medic with Dilly and Vanderstill and Mitchell and Soapbox. They haven't even been talking about each other lately. Why is it that after the New Zealand thing and after all this heat came down, they're all defending each other again, linking up, going and meeting each other? They're fucking panicking. They are panicking. They're trying to defend their following while trying to cook up some excuse to get them out of this. And we can only cross our fingers and hope that all these guys get arrested soon, because this is the best chance we've ever had to see them get arrested. It's the best chance. They are defrauding people. They are slandering and libeling and defrauding every day in massive amounts. This whole thing, and now Q itself, like, it's different when Medic tells people to go report these guys to the FBI and the IRS. But when this conspiracy theory on 8chan tells people, do you think the FBI is going to be happy when they start get all these phone calls from fucking 8chan? You think they're not going to know it's from 8chan? Yeah, like they haven't been tipped off already. That you think that the fucking MAGA guys didn't call into the FBI and say, hey, these guys are taking just our normal business stuff and trying to frame it like we're evil conspiracy theories against America. And they're telling people to flood our websites, to attack us, to threaten us. And they're sending all this to the FBI. So you think the FBI is not going to be ready for like the thousands of phone calls that pour in over and over and over in different voices? Like it'll be like one dude sitting in his basement over in North Carolina is going to say, FBI, yes, the MAGA coalition, and here's the stuff, and I need to report this to you. Then the same dude's going to call in, hello, I'm from California, the MAGA coalition, blah, 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 blah. And this is exactly what they do. They cause division. They wield free speech as a weapon that they can use criminally to slander and libel and lie, which is not protected by the Constitution. That's a crime. Like if I go out and wield my body to go rob someone, I will get punished for it. Like if I use my free speech to do the same thing, to damage somebody, to rob somebody, to incite something against somebody. They literally think that free speech means they can say anything and the Constitution protects them. Why do people go to jail for that shit then? All throughout our history of our country. It's a two-way street, right? Just like, you can commit crimes, in any way. But when you're taking the rights away from others and celebrating it, when you're inciting people to file reports, like both the Soapbox and Medic didn't even say what these guys did wrong to make them be reported to the FBI. They say, these guys need reported. Here you go do it. It's like, well, tell us why. Right? Aren't you going to at least tell us what they did wrong? I haven't had any of you guys to even type what they've done wrong yet. And I don't support any of the damn politicians. I could give a fuck less about politics, but this whole conspiracy is caving in on itself, dude. It is completely caving in on itself. 100%. All right, I'm heading over to the UNIRock archive. If you want to hang with me for a few minutes, I'll see you there. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Appreciate you listening. And hopefully we can keep you updated on this stuff. But I'm going to be uploading videos here to UNIRock 2. I might go live tomorrow, but if I do, it's not going to be saved to the channel. Most likely I'll upload the live stream to the UNIRock archive and unlist it here so that it's not in the front of the channel, because I'm just going to hang out and talk to you again and show you stuff. So thank you for watching. I really do appreciate all of you. Consider joining my channel next to the subscribe button. It's only $4.99 a month, and it massively helps me to be able to continue making content every day and live streaming. Regardless of where I'm live streaming, your membership at UNIRock 2 helps me to continue doing what I do. And as always, UNIRock 2 will be the place for my live streams and the place for that type of content. Even if I do stream like some longer, just like chill streams over on the archive. I'll be heading over to the UNIRock archive right now. I appreciate you all very much. I'll see you soon. Make sure you like and subscribe, and thank you. Audi 5000G. Hey, Praying Medic. Do you remember the only thing you ever said to me on Twitter, Praying Medic? Hey, Praying Medic, try harder. Well, we're off the air, but only for a second. We're going to the archive, Bizzy. What are you talking about, bro? Will you stop hallucinating? Please stop hallucinating. I know. When you smoke that much crack, you hallucinate like crazy. Bizzy, seriously. It's not good for you, buddy. Put it down. Oh, you'll never put it down, huh? You're never going to put down the pipe, huh? Maybe I'll fire your ass. He won't hire you. Praying Medic won't hire you. He told me. That was the other thing he said to me on Twitter. He said, your assistant, I'm never hiring your assistant like Jordan Sather did. Sather said he wouldn't take you back either. Get away from me, Bizzy. I'm sick of this shit. Leave me alone.